Good morning, Tempo Freaks and Raptor Freaks. Lexi out here Friday morning, and we have another Tempo Commissioner's Cup game tonight in Washington against the Mystics. And well, we got after that two more. So we're about halfway through the Commissioner's Cup. We're 2-1. Well, we'd like to be 3-1 by the end of the night. So tonight is a rematch of the first ever regular season game for the Toronto Tempo franchise. Their opener at home at Coca-Cola Coliseum. They lost to Kyra Austin and the Washington Mystics. And this is the second time we'll play them. So there's a little bit of like, I want to see if the Tempo have some get back, a little bit of receipts to give back because they lost the first time they played Washington. And the competitiveness, I want to see the competitiveness of the Tempo players and Sandy Brondello to come out and get a redemption for losing the first game of the season to Washington. Of course, the way Washington beat us in the first game of the season was through pure size. Really was Austin just bullied us. Temi played in that game, but she left early and did not finish the game, and she's been out since. But the great news is things boomerang around to this point because I am proud to say that Temi Fagbenle is probable for the game tonight. That's right. Let's do the latest lineup news. And Temi's where I'll start. Yeah, they're saying this morning, this switched yesterday, that Temi is now probable for the game. Her shoulder has been the issue, and she hasn't been in the court since we played the Mystics the first time. But it looks like she'll suit up for the game tonight and be playing. Probable is probable. That's better than questionable. So it looks like Fagbenle is going to be showing up, and this is fantastic. This is awesome. I mean, this is so good, guys. This really, really is. So that's part of our news. There is a bad news part of it too. But we know Kiki Rice is out due to her ankle sprain. This will be the second game she'll miss, or third game actually she'll miss due to the ankle sprain. Unfortunately, all Commissioner Cup games. But yeah, Kiki's out. But Kaysen's still coming to the games, I guess. I don't know if he'll be there in Washington. We'll have to see. The other person that was added to the injury list yesterday, and this is unfortunate, is Niara. Niara Sabali is questionable for tonight's game due to a hamstring injury. It's a right hamstring. And, like I said, she's the anvil. She's taking a lot of the hits from the hammer of the other side. And, there's going to be some issues at times, but hopefully Niara's okay and she hopefully can still play tonight, maybe because we need all hands on deck when you're dealing with a player the caliber of Austin. Austin's just a big, big, bad player and really, really difficult to handle and contain. So, having Temi and Niara would be ideal for tonight. We'll have to see. It looks like Temi will be back, though. We'll have to see if Niara's going to play. So, yeah, that's the injury report for the Tempo. Rest of it's clean. So, it's just Rice is out. Sabali is questionable. And Fagbenle is probable. That's good news, y'all. We're going to see Temi tonight, probably. All right, go and look at the Washington Mystics, Lex. All right, I will. Their leading rebounder, Kiki Irafin, is hurt right now, actually. She's been missing, let's see, she got hurt in their last game. Yeah, she has an ankle injury. She's questionable for tonight's game officially. She sprained her right ankle in the Monday game against the Indiana Fever, and she may need more time to recover. So it looks like they're a great rebounder. The long-armed Kiki Irafin might be missing the game tonight. Yeah, she's been a very powerful player for them. In some ways, she's been the person that's kind of the tag team partner for Austin on the boards. And this will be, a tough missing person for the Mystic side. But that's the only person on their side that has any kind of injury mark right now. Everybody else is good to go. Shakira Austin, Sonia Citron, Lauren Betts, Georgia Amore, Michaela Onionware will be playing this time. She was not available for the first game. Angela Dugalich, Coty McMahon, Lucy Olson, Alicia Flores, Rory Harmon, Cassandra Prosper. Yeah, that's the Mystics right now. And well, that's who's going to be showing up. Kiki may be questionable. Let's just see. All right. The ESPN matchup predictor is predicting that Washington Mystics have a 59% chance to beat the Tempo on their home court tonight in Washington. So, yeah, 59% favoring. I don't know how they factor that in. Our record is way better than the Mystics. It seems like we may be playing way better than them. They're on a 2-game losing streak. We're on a 2-game winning streak. So I don't understand how they figure out the ESPN matchup predictor. In some ways, I'm not going to trust that it is straight scientific. It may have tones of favoritism. Let's just put it that way. We'll have to see. We'll have to see because they've been very wrong with the predictions for the Tempo so far, like the way they favor which team and stuff like that. I think that home court does heavily favor these things very much. All right, let's go look at the referees for today's game. We start out with crew chief Tony Patillo, number 76. We've had Tony once as a ref so far this year, and we lost. So we're 0-1 with Tony. Ryan Sassano is the referee. He's a G League ref. He's also refed in other places I've seen him. This will be the first game of the Tempos that Ryan will ref officially. So, yeah, it'll be he's number 3. And then the umpire is Ken Jones. Ken Jones, number 36. He's refed us once before, like Tony, and he is 0-1. So the overall ref report record for the Tempo today is 0-2 with no victories. Well, let's get that changed today. Let's get a W hung with referee Patillo, Sassano, and Jones. Yeah. This is Tony Patillo, from what I remember, was a feisty ref who's kind of annoying. And then Sassano, I think he's kind of just an okay ref. Ken Jones is all right too. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see what's going on here with the refs. All right, that's your ref report and your latest lineup news to get you set up for Tempo at Mystics, Commissioner's Cup game number 4 for the young expansion Toronto team. Yeah, it's fun, man. I'm enjoying this season so much. I'm enjoying watching the WNBA. I'm enjoying watching our team. Marina Mabry dropping another fantastic clip yesterday on our YouTube channel. 11 minutes of chaos. And it's about the family. It's the Mabry family. You actually get to see Marina's mom in this one. She's in Toronto with their dad and her sister Dara. They're all, you get a slice of their family life. You see Dara come over, she's cussing like crazy and trying to play with the dogs. And Marina gets mad because she's like, the dog just had surgery. It's not supposed to jump up and down off the couch. What are you doing? Stop it. They're a funny bunch, like in a really touching moment when both the sisters go and are close to their mother, and they see them kind of hanging around in Toronto. And it's kind of funny. You hear Marina's dad complaining about all the rules with the Toronto streets, like the one ways and the parking and everything like that. And you hear Marina say, Dad, you're not right over the GPS. You always think you know better than GPS. And then we go the way you want to go. And you always add 7 minutes to our trip. That's Toronto right there. That's Toronto. I mean, it's true. Toronto has the busiest section of highway in the entire world, or at least in North America. I don't know what's going on in China and India, but 401 is officially the busiest highway in North America. It is busier than the busiest highway in Los Angeles. So everybody around, like, is that something to brag about? I don't know. But yeah, 401 is officially, yes, the most cars per day going on that road. So yeah, traffic's bad, but it's kind of funny to hear them talk. They're very real people, and I like real people. You can tell the vibe of them. It's kind of like have fun basketball people, and they're in the rec room. They went to the rec room. Well, I know where they were. They were at the rec room right next to Ripley's Aquarium and the CN Tower, and they're playing fun games. Like, they're playing ice hockey on a Maple Leafs ice hockey table, And then there, Marina's playing some sort of race game or something, and it's got a funny picture of her in there in the corner. It says "wanted." Yeah, they even take turns playing the basketball game, and that was fun to see Marina's shooting technique in the rec room, shooting the little games. Like when we see Raptors play the little games, like I remember last summer, a bunch of the Raptors went to Wonderland. I believe it was like Mamu and Oshai and Jacoby and AJ Lawson. And they were shooting the baskets, but it was the bigger game where you have to shoot further. And they weren't doing so good. I'm like, man, if you're a basketball player professionally, you should probably not play that game because you could look bad in public because you did not shoot it well. And we all know those are rigged because the rim is smaller than the NBA rim. And it's just enough size for the ball to fit through. It's all Carney shenanigans, right? Carney shenanigans. But the one that they were playing was an indoor one that's like closer, and it's like you're supposed to feed the ball through. Like you'll see some clips from China, and this guy's just like crazy, just throwing the ball through. Well, Marina's like that. Like when she started playing the game, it's like, whoa, she's like doing her fling shot, like and just grabbing the ball, and they're all going in. They're all going in. I was like, wow, that's badass. But her mom got on it too. And she could shoot. She was shooting too. They call her coach, by the way. They call mom coach. They call mom coach, which is cool. That's so cute. And well, she was determined to beat Marina. And after they were leaving, she's like, I beat you in that basketball game. And Marina's like, I barely played it. I played it for like 10 seconds. You can't say you beat me if I barely played it. You were on that thing for like a half an hour. It's so good. And then there was the whole part where they're punching the punching bag, and Dara is trying to take on her mom in that one. And well, mom's packing a punch. Mom beat Dara with the punch, and Dara was like trying. She's like, ugh. And mom's just like, wham. Yeah, I appreciate your 11 minutes of chaos. As one subscriber to her channel said, you could list every single one of your clips 11 minutes of chaos. The Mabry family is bless them. Bless them. Bless them. Oh, they're so good. They're so good. All right, let's see what Trevor J said in the chat this morning. Man, yeah, y'all check out Marina Mabry's YouTube channel. Seriously, it's great. It's great, man. And yeah, I'm learning more about them, but they're awesome. They are awesome. All right, let's see. Trevor J said this morning. Patience is knowing that every seed you plant now helps you reap the fruits later. Faith and hustle are an unstoppable combination. Don't sleep. Compound effort. Compound your effort. Yeah. You could do this literally. You could plant seeds and actually get plants in the yard. I'm really happy with what's going on with my garden right now. There's a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff going on. But yeah, you want to have plans for the future. You kind of set your plans up with the beginnings, and that's the seeds. And you want to think about what you want to accomplish and what you want to try and do with your life, and do something productive, something substantial, or something meaningful to yourself. And yeah, this is good words of wisdom. Bless the Jones family, all the Raptor Freak family. Sure, set things up now and get things good later is what it is. Yeah. Trevor's saying happy game day tempo. Let's win. Yeah. There's been some criticism about our arena and our experience in Toronto at Coca-Cola. This thing has been thrown together so quickly. I know that it seems like we were waiting a long time for the tempo to come, but everything is happening so fast. And the nature of how the work stoppage in the WNBA affected the Toronto Tempo's entry into this league is understated. There's somebody who covers the WNBA who's going on Reddit and bashing the Tempo right now for saying that they have the worst in-game experience of all the arenas in the WNBA. And I know this is somebody who works for the WNBA who's saying this because they have access to go to all the arenas and they do go around. Now they're judging us unfairly, I truly believe. We're an expansion team and we just started. When the Raptors started, they gave shirts, they gave distraction things to the wrong end of the floor for free throws. There's all kinds of stuff they're working out. This is a hockey arena. They don't have stats on the scoreboard. And I guess, oh, we're so used to it with other arenas. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't look up at the TV screen in the middle and there's no stats there. When I was a little kid, we didn't even have a TV in the middle. You just watched the game. You didn't get to watch no TV with stats on the sides. You just watched the game. And if you kept stats yourself, you could look at them because there was no internet. There was none of this. People get so hoity-toity with the benefits and things of technology and stuff like that. When it's not necessarily there, they get all bent out of shape. I think it's stupid. This is a work in progress. We don't even have a mascot yet. There's a lot of things that we're getting better at. There's people in positions that have to learn their job on the job currently for the tempo. They're not using the MLSE people because this is not MLSE. This is Kilmer Group. This is Tannenbaum and Resch. This is Monica Wright Rogers. This is not Ed Rogers and his company. And in fact, I would even probably estimate that Rogers has been hindering them in certain ways, if he can, on the down low around the edges of it. So get off your high horse, WNBA reporter. And I would say this: come back and see us in a year and see how we've come around and do the review then. But I think it's just really in poor taste for you to put that energy out there when, we've had a lot of things going against us for this franchise. First of all, the primary sports owner of sports in Toronto rejected having this team, and we still scraped together and got this going. So, there's a lot of things you've got to factor in when you want to write some. Honestly, it's like your parents say, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, because they're trying. And I can see it. I mean, I can see all the issues that they're having down there at Coca-Cola with different things as far as putting on a sporting event. I can see them. I understand. But I also understand that this is something that's very young and new and needs some time to get seasoned and figured out. And, some of the employees are learning on the job. So, be nicer is what I would say. And understand that, they're going to get it together and it's going to get better and better. You're just seeing it very roughly in the really early rough drafts is what I would say to that reporter. Yeah. Yeah. Trevor J's reminding us, don't forget to vote for our Tempo All-Stars. I haven't even done this yet. I don't even know where to go. Maybe I'll go try and figure this out right now. Let's do a little segment called Lex Votes for WNBA All-Stars. All right, let's see. I'm going to put it in the search engine. Let's see how easy this is to do. I don't know. Maybe I have to do all kinds of goofy stuff to get this done. That's for last year. I want to vote for that says 2026. I want 2025. I want 2026. Come on now, where is it? Okay. Official all-star voting. All right, here we go. All right. Where's the place to vote though? Where do I vote? Okay, here's a little link here. Let's see. Okay, you decide. All right, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and just look for the tempo players. All right, let's see. Brittany, yeah. Marina, yeah. Kiki, yeah. Niara, yeah. Laura. All right, yeah. Wow, that's not even filling it up. All right, Isabel, sure. Isabel, Julie. Okay, and we get one more. Let's go Maria Conde. Yeah, Maria Conde. Oh, wait, we do have more spots. Okay, Tiani Key. Just go ahead and put all tempo in, Lex. Just do it. All right, there you go. So I'm going to officially vote for Sabali, Yuskeda, Harrison, Conde, Key, Fagbenle, who's barely played, Sykes, Mabry, Rice, and Alamo. All right. Oh, sign in. Okay, I think I can sign in. Man, okay, you got to do a bunch of stuff. I guess I haven't signed in before. All right. Yeah, all right. I'm just trying this experience here. How do you vote for WNBA? I don't know if I have an existing password. Anyway, I've shown how to go through the motions there. That's how you do it. Go to the WNBA and fill in your ballot on their site and then submit it. And do your votes every day, like Trevor said. That's right. Yeah, James is here. James saying, Lex, can you scout Luigi Suego? I believe we did. I remember him. I remember scouting a man named Luigi. And unless there's another guy named Luigi. No, that was the same Luigi, Suego. He's all right. He was a thumbs up to me. I liked him. I think that he's in my list of 5 that I've got. Chris Sinak Jr., Kareem Lopez, uh, Luigi. He was on there. Those are 3 of my top picks for the Raptors at 19. Are Sinak, Lopez, and Swigo. Yeah, I liked him. He was one of my top 5 picks from what I remember, James. Seymour saying this: Miami is adding Khalil Ware to the trade market and return first round pick, 2026 pick. Lex, would you make that deal? So you're saying Raptors trade the 19th pick to get Khalil Ware? Yeah, I'd probably do that deal. Although we got to continue to look at the Arizona guys' issues. Isn't he Arizona or something like that? I forget. But remember, Kellel had a red flag coming in for personality with the team and kind of not being a team player totally. And that's shown in Miami in his 2 years since he's been there. There's something weird about him. He's like very good and talented in certain ways, but also he's not fitting in, and Miami doesn't value him. In some ways, that's a red flag in itself that he's on the market and his Spoelstra is not valuing him. It's a little bit like Precious. Think about Precious, how he played for Miami, and then they almost immediately said, "You know what? We're good. We don't need Achua." What's going on with Ware? That's the same kind of action. For me, I think that it's a smart move because you get an established guy who's played NBA level and has somewhat shown that he's got good production. Now, part of the reason that I don't think they play him is he gets in foul trouble. And I think that also he does make dumb mistakes and maybe he doesn't listen very well. I don't know. Either way, I would maybe make that gamble because with Ware, you get a certain level of rim protection and rebounding that we dearly need. We dearly need it. So if we can't get somebody of that level at the pick 19, yeah, do that swap. Do that swap. I would do it because in some ways you're getting somebody who's a little further along that can help us immediately. And maybe 2 years of his project years are done already in Miami of getting up to speed with the NBA and what it is. So I would do this. In some ways, that's the bird in the hand that's worth the 2 in the bush because he's a one in your hand. Now he has issues somehow, some way, and the NBA intel on the down low knows what the issues are. Bobby's got to weigh that against it if he's even thinking about making a move like this. To me, I'd do it because I don't care about any of these young guys in the draft. I don't care about any unknown college player. I don't care who they are or what school they come from. You got a player who's already played in the league for a little while, and he's shown merit. He's shown production. He's shown possibilities and maybe flowering as a player. Yeah, get him. Will they take the 19th pick straight up for him, and that's it? Because I would do it. I would do that, I would do that, Seymour. Yeah, I would. I would do that, man. That's an interesting question. I would do that though myself, but I don't know all the deep intel about Ware and his personality, and that's been the red flag all along. And it is a red flag that they want to get him out of there already. You know, Seymour saying this: LeBum said he will only return to LA if they offer him the max. That's awesome. Good. I'm glad he did that. He deserves it. He deserves it because he is LeBron James and he is near the end. And well, he's got to maximize his profits before he's done, right? So that's good business. It's not like the man has trouble making money. It's not like the man has had trouble accumulating a huge, vast wealth and amount of money already. Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad he did this. In some ways, that's him saying, LA, let me go. That's it. The only way I'm playing for this headache organization with Luca and all this mess, with you disrespecting me, is you got to pay me the max at this point. That's forcing their hand, Seymour. That's saying, you know what? You better move me. That's what that is right there. Are people being too harsh on the Spurs head coach? Isn't this his first playoff run? Yeah, that may be true. That may be true. I mean, I think it's just an unfortunate thing of circumstance, but they should have telegraphed this. They should have understood this. When they hired Mitch Johnson, they had him in line like Dylan Harper or Stephon Castle. This is a young core. The coach is a young core with the young core. Now, did they expect to get all the way to the finals this year? They probably wanted to, and that was the goal. Well, you have Victor Wembanyama. You did it. They may not have expected to get this far. And in some ways, the development of young Victor is surpassing the development of their coach and putting them at a level of competition that they're not ready for. I don't know if Mitch Johnson's a good coach. He probably is, but he's not been dealing with this level of the finals and this kind of thing ever before, and he's fucked up. In some ways, you have to go to these things and find out, well, don't do that. Oh, fuck, I fucked up this game. We just lost 2 of these games by 1. That's bad. I think he's been over his head with what's happening. The water is over his head. But it's really because the talent on his team is so good, they carried them further than they were supposed to go, and they're bumping their heads on the ceiling in the finals. You know, Wemby is just that kind of talent. And that's maybe the foresight that the Spurs should have had was they should have had a middle hire instead of a brand new rookie coach who's got to go through development himself. They should have hired a guy like Budenholzer. Like I said, because you got a guy who won the championship with the Bucks, who's a Spurs under assistant coach under Popovich, who knows the ways of their culture, knows the ways of the city and everything. Why wouldn't you go get Mike Budenholzer instead of Mitch Johnson? That's what I wondered. You know, Steve Kerr may be done in Golden State soon, and he could have been coaching the Spurs now. You know, how many rings does he have? That's what I'm saying. To me, the incumbent for Pop was always going to be somebody monumental. How do you fill those shoes? How do you fill the shoes of Greg Popovich? You know, and Mitch Johnson had a tough time right from the start. But listen, you got to get somebody that's going to be able to do something fast because Victor's on a fast track. And that's where they fucked up. They didn't realize, and I think the whole NBA didn't realize, none of us realized that the Spurs would be in the finals this year after not being in the playoffs last year. And the elevator up has just been too fast, and they hit their ceiling too hard. And Mitch Johnson's on the ground unconscious because he got knocked out by the reverberations. So I don't know. He's probably a great coach, but man, there's levels to this, right, Seymour? There's levels to being a good coach in the NBA. That's why you got to test your coaches and see if they really can handle the stress of the NBA finals and everything, the brighter lights and the stage that it is. That's right. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they're being harsh. I don't like them. If they fired him, I don't think they should fire him after this. But if he screws up in the playoffs next year, they should fire him after that. I think they should do that after that. Like if he shows that he's just not helping them to win games in the right way, and for them to be the ultimate level they can be, yeah, they should fire him next year. I don't know if they should gut reaction fire him this year, unless some of the players have lost confidence in him because of what's happened just now. You know what I'm saying? Fiercely saying this. Good morning, fam, and happy game day. Let's get payback from the first game. Yeah, this is going to be a growth marker. You know, the first game, we didn't have a lot together yet. We were playing a lot of isolation one-on-one ball with our $2 million backcourt stars. And now we've got a little bit more fleshed out on our offense with motion and screening and rolls to the basket and more, we're doing better on transition because we're getting out there and running, so let's see where we're at now. Can we see if we've learned anything about containing bigs since the first time we faced Austin so that we can contain her better and not let her just run roughshod on us like Aaliyah Edwards did in the last game? We'll have to see. These are questions inquiring minds want to know. And well, we'll see the gauge of how far we came just in the first 12 games or so since our opener against the Mystics. And plus, we're on the road. We're going to be playing them in their home arena. So we have to see. Yeah. Fiercely saying, I sense Slim will go off against her old team. Yeah, that's not her old team. Her old team is Seattle, right? Or did she play for? Oh yeah, she did play for the Mystics for a second. That's right, she did. She played for a lot of teams. It's trying to keep them all straight. Okay, so she was on the Mystics at the beginning of the year, got traded to Seattle halfway through the year last year. That's right. Yeah, MJ's right. That's right. I had to figure that out. All right, let's do the Toronto Tempo Redder of the day. It's gonna be Atsuko Ochi Paprika. Atsuko Ochi Paprika is the Toronto Tempo Redder of the day, and they're waiting for Kiki's return. And well, only in Coca-Cola Coliseum, it's a picture of Brittany Sykes on the bench. Now that's something you rarely see with pro athletes in the middle of the game. She's drinking a Coke can, a classic Coke out of the can in Coca-Cola Coliseum. Well, that's like on the nose advertising. In some ways, these women are aware of the advertising, whether it's Sephora, Tampax, or whatever is going on around them. And well, it sounds like a very like staged commercial to have Brittany Sykes drinking a Coke can on the sideline at Coca-Cola Coliseum. And apparently Marina wrote this in too. She's like, and I made her pour some in my cup. So she took some of the Coke can and poured it in Marina's cup, and she had some Coca-Cola on the sidelines at Coca-Cola Coliseum also. So thank you to Atsuko Chibi Paprika for being the Toronto Tempo Redditor of the day and bringing this to our attention. The on-the-nose advertising of Brittany Sykes. Yeah, that's awesome. There's something else that was really awesome that came out yesterday that I want to talk about that I'm like in awe of, and I hope it's very real. And I'm not totally sure. They came out with this all-star menu thing. Now, I don't know if y'all made this up. These dishes sound fantastic. And I'm wondering if y'all have a good enough cook and there is going to be serving these dishes somewhere because it seems like you need to. So basically, the all-star campaign is a menu. And they're saying vote all-star, Tempo's finest, chefs cooked, all-star special. Now, are these going to be real? Is this menu real? Is what I'm asking Tempo. Is this menu real? Because they've got a plate for all the players, honestly. They've got the Laura Euskeda, the stretch four, Tiani Keys, the ceiling, Niara Sabali's championship stock, Maria Conde's Madrid long range, Temi Fagbenle's full court soya, Isabel Harrison's in the paint, Kiki Rice's the grain of play, Marina Mabry's heat check, Kia Nurse's the homecoming, Brittany Sykes the cut behind, Julie Alamon the floor general, and Tima Pouillet's Yuzu French citrus sorbet. This is crazy. Somebody had fun with this and creating this. They matched up their passions. You can tell. They matched up their passion for the WNBA and the tempo with culinary cuisine. They got the menu fleshed out with the ingredients. I'm telling y'all, these sound like real things that they could be making. So like the Maria Conde Madrid long range is a saffron roasted sea bass with sherry emulsion. It's a Spanish-inspired classic with an effortless technique. I don't know if this is just a speech on the player and their type and who they are and what's going on, but these are awesome. Marina Mabry's heat check, Pardrell, charred chili Pardrell Del with seared chicken, fire roasted tomato, and pecorino. Chef's note: aggressive flavors, no apologies, a little edge, a lot of confidence. Trevor J, you got a food truck. I wonder if you could try and make some of these tempo-inspired all-star recipes because they sound like they might be tasty, man. Kia Nurse's the homecoming is maybe a little gross, but we'll see. Ontario peach and maple cured salmon tartare. Yeah, that's not. I mean, I guess that's not bad. They're used to. There's a lot of maple salmon up here and stuff like that. But yeah, local, iconic, unmistakably Canadian, served with hometown pride. Kia Nurse's homecoming. Yeah, see, this is like a salmon. Tiani Keys, the ceiling is Kentucky blue corn succotash. This is just right on it, like blue corn, blue, the Wildcats, Kentucky. Come on now. A bold take on a Southern classic defined by freshness and a new vision. See, and that says so much about Tiani. It's like the ceiling. Hello? That's perfect. Who made this menu? You need to open a real restaurant and make it the Tempo restaurant and make the dishes on the menu, whatever players play for the team. And each player is going to have a signature dish. So hopefully the best dish stays on the team a long time Because if they leave, you can't serve it no more. That'd be crazy. Kiki Rice is the grain of play. California herb rice pilaf with roasted sweet corn, citrus zest, avocado creme, and creme lime oil finish. Best served in rhythm. Does that mean you run up to the table and throw it down and where paste becomes the main ingredient? Yeah, I love that. Of course, it's a rice dish. Of course, it is. And for Laura, they do a Lithuanian traditional dish. The stretch four is kugles, served hot with parmesan and chives, a modern take on a Lithuanian staple built on texture and precision. These people this is somebody who's written a menu before. This is somebody who's written a menu before. This is great. Temmie's is a full court suya spice chicken thigh with roasted sweet potato, charred onions, and ginger scotch bonnet juice, built for bold flavor and forward motion. We're gonna have that on the menu tonight. Let's go, Tammy, and come back on the court and kick some butt for the Tempo against Austin tonight, please. Sabali's is a matcha miso salmon bowl. That just makes sense. They made Niara's have matcha in it somehow, right? That just totally makes sense. Atlantic salmon glazed in a matcha miso reduction, served over crispy rice. You know, it'd be a cool show to watch these women try these dishes. Like, that'd be a cool YouTube content, Teresa Resch. Make the dishes for real. If this is just for like the All-Star and it's just written up and nobody's ever gonna make these dishes, that's sad. Because it could be really fun content to see the members of the Tempo try their own dishes and see if they actually like them or not. We're all about food reviews, right? Tempo Nation. We're all about the reviews of the drinks, the coffee drinks and the matcha. Why can't we get this? This would be awesome. It's maybe a lot of money and to get all this food together, and you have to have a really good chef. But Tempo, do you have that? Larry, you can get your personal chef in here just for something fun. Come on now. Isabel Harrison's in steak with smoked romesco, tahini yogurt, and crispy chickpeas. This plating holds ground with contrast and control in every component. Man, they are so on the nose and good at this. They're good at this. Y'all are good. You're good for writing it like this. Yeah, there's still a few more. Let me do the last three real quick. Julie Alamons, the floor general, Belgian endive canoes with a precision pear, blue cheese, and golden walnut. Arrives exactly where it needs to be, makes every dish around it better. So good. Brittany Sykes has slim cut ribs, garlic glazed short rib with blackberry juice, crispy shallots, and slim sweet seasoning. Quiet setup, sudden finish, never predictable, and space is always created for this dish. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. I love this so much. Tima's is the dessert. Yuzu French citrus sorbet. Yuzu and French citrus sorbet with candied citrus peel, served as a refreshing palate cleanser to unexpectedly awaken the senses. There you go. There you go. Yeah, and she's got another post up just recently of her and Olivier again. And she's got a picture of Olivier at the Tempo game with her on the court, and she's pointing at him saying, "#1 fan." Oh, that's sweet. That is sweet right there. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. All right, Fiercey saying, interesting fact, All-Star voting goes, but the highest scorers and I was pleasantly surprised to see Niara ranked higher than her sister Satu. So they rank the players in the All-Star when on the site by their points per game. It's the same as the NBA. If you want to have a higher stake in the whole order of being on the All-Star page, you have to have a high scoring average, because the high score is number one and is on the top of the list, and they go all in order going down. So that makes sense because Niara is averaging more points than her sister right now. So that makes sense why she is higher, because her points per game is higher. It's exactly right. Yeah. You, hey, Fiercey? Awesome. Yeah, and apparently you can just vote for all the tempo and nobody else. You don't have to vote for West or anything. That's pretty cool. Seymour's saying this: people's attention span has been sliced to a minimum with 30-second clips and fast lifestyles. It's the first season for the tempo, and people want a complete 5-star package. Laugh out loud. Microwaves. No season, no marinating at all. Yeah. Part of their complaint was that they thought that the in-game ops was not as good as it should be. That the dance team isn't as good, the energy isn't as good, and it's just like not as good. Some people were complaining that we're like Slim actually said this. This is crazy. I've never heard this before because I've been around basketball culture my whole life. I've coached, I played, I've watched the NBA for decades. I really do study the game and I understand it a lot, but I don't understand anybody getting upset because they're doing the Herbie Coon shh before free throws for the tempo. Now, Slim said this after the game the other night that when she was taking those very important free throws at overtime against the Sun, that it was too quiet in Coca-Cola. That she said that you could hear a needle drop, and it was like, that's too quiet, fans. Y'all need to be a little bit more loud. I don't agree with that. I know that you guys may think that there's more pressure, but listen, I don't know why people don't understand why DR DeRozan was so disruptive, because she was, and that was messed up what happened. And everybody thinks, oh, why do we have a problem with DR? Because there was a real problem there. Trust me, we lost that playing game because of her partly. So look, the protocol for free throws is just like golf. You shut up when they're putting. It's the same kind of shit. The pressure's on the golfer too on the pitch. And even though Slim said y'all be a little bit louder, I don't agree with that totally. Talk a little bit, but don't be cheering. Don't be loud. It's better to be quiet when free throws are being shot. Seriously. That's the way it's always been. And it's not that, like, all right, if she feels personal pressure when she's taking her free throws and she wants y'all to make more noise, we'll do what she wants us to do. But the protocol in the history of the NBA and in basketball in general is when your team and you're at home is shooting free throws, you shut up. That's just base. People that are new to this, that are just getting into this because of tempo, that is the way it works in basketball. You're supposed to shut up when your home team, and when the other team's shooting, you're supposed to be loud as fuck. That's the way it's supposed to be. So I don't get this whole backlash against being quiet during free throws for our home team. That's normal. We do it for the Raptors, and honestly, it works. There's a lot of distraction with noise and stuff like that. You can mess people up by screaming and yelling all of a sudden like DR did. Trust me, I do it all the time. When I go to the game, I do it to the visitor. So I don't agree with this in some ways. Slim wants it to be a little louder when she's shooting free throws. We should do it for her. But I would say the protocol and the default is to shut up when free throws are shot. We got to remember, once again, there's a learning curve with the tempo, just like the Raptors had a learning curve. It's a little bit more advanced because the Raptors culture is 30 years in, and we do understand basketball in this country. But there are a lot of new fans coming to this that weren't Raptors fans because they just want to watch the tempo and the W, that don't really know what the fuck they're talking about. Let's just put it that way. So, I mean, that's my stance on it. It's like, be loud during the other team's free throws. But when we're shooting free throws, we should be pretty quiet. It should not be like normal crowd noise. And people saying that it gets too quiet in the arena at times, there's supposed to be a difference of noise. There's not supposed to be just a roar of the crowd the whole entire time the game is going on. There's supposed to be a difference in noise. You don't know cold without hot, right? So, you can amp up the crowd and get loud for an overtime to help them win against Connecticut. That's the difference of noise, because it was quieter earlier in the game and it got louder and louder as the game went. So, I mean, I don't get why people don't understand this. And also, I don't really get why people want to control the crowd so much. Let's stop controlling the crowd. Let's let people be people. Okay? Let's do that. Now, unless you're DR DeRozan and you're doing something like that, you embarrass your dad, although he was real proud of you on the download too. That's right. That's right. Fiercely saying this. In all honesty, I believe the stars aligned correctly. Imagine we had been the monopoly of all. He had been the monopoly of all Toronto professional teams. We're in better hands with Larry, Teresa, etc. Yeah, I mean, I like this. This in some ways you know what could happen, and this could be really dumb. And you know what? And kudos to Larry if he does this. You know what could happen is that, and this is exactly what happened to the Raptors too. There were people that hated the idea of basketball coming here. They didn't want anything to do with it. Hockey establishment, the people that we talk about with Stargate all the time, the people that make hockey great again, crowd, they didn't want the NBA to come in the market in the first place. So, nobody wanted to help John Batove. Nobody wanted that to happen. There were competing groups and stuff. And, you know, basically, the Raptors were a risk, and the Raptors were maybe going to fail. And all the pussy people like Stavro and MLSE didn't want to get involved in it in the beginning. They wanted to see if it had legs and if it was going to work. And then they jumped in and took control of it afterwards, like 4 years in. That's what happened. That's when MLSE bought the Raptors and took over them from the group from before. And it was really because they were cowards, because they didn't think it would work and they were worried it wouldn't. So they wouldn't initially invest in it. But once it was successful, they're like, all right, now we'll take it. I think that might be what happens with Rodgers, to be honest, is that he may see that the Temple are actually making a lot of money, and then he'll make an offer. And Larry will be smart, because everybody who bought in with Larry at that level, because honestly, it's really smart when Larry and the Temple came in, because everything ballooned after that. Everything with the new CBA, the TV deals, the WNBA is making more money than ever all of a sudden after this. So Larry, if he bought the team for a certain amount, he could turn around, flip it, and sell it to Ed Rodgers in a couple years from now for like 10 times what he paid for it, at least, if not more percentage. So I could see that happening. And in some ways, this would be good for the Tempo, even though we don't really like Ed, because this would mean the Tempo would be playing at Scotiabank Arena for every single game. That would be the difference right there. But in some ways, I bet you Ed Rodgers is watching, he's saying, I want to see if they can actually sell out all the time. And these games, when they come for the Phoenix game on the 27th of this month, that'll be a test to see if the tickets can be sold for the entirety of the Scotiabank Arena, like it did for the WNBA test games a few years ago. So I could see this happening, because in some ways, Ed Rodgers is a coward, and he don't want to go in on the initial risk of whether the team's going to make it or not. The team's going to make it. And then he may see how it's going, and he'll be like, you know what? I changed my mind. I would like to go ahead and get them. And who knows? Maybe Larry will say, fuck you. No, we're not doing that. We're keeping the team. I don't know. But I could see the scenario happening, possibly, because if history repeats itself, this is what happened with the Raptors. This is what happened with the Raptors. The people that were passionate and cared about the Raptors and shaped their image, their name, and their likeness, the people responsible for the fantastic logo we had from the start, they were booted out within the first few years of our franchise. And that's Isaiah Thomas and John Batove. So, yeah, it's like that. It's like that. Fiercely saying, good morning, Seymour. Coming with the jokes today. Seriously, LeBron, Ladululu. No, I believe him. This is not delusional. We got to understand the greatness of LeBron. He is one of the greatest of all time. There's no denying that. And the man is not going to be playing for much longer. He deserves a max. Nah, just because this is toxic, just because this is something the Lakers will not do, well, this means LeBron won't be on the Lakers this year. That's what this sounds like to me. That's right. GOAT. All right, GOAT. All right, Neil. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you, Fiercey, also. Fiercely saying, Lex, Miami probably does like us assess the players to see if they fit Heat culture. Not everyone can be a Raptor. I don't know if Miami assesses them like us. They got Terry Rozier. Did things go well with Jimmy Butler in the last couple of years? I don't know if this is true. The Heat have a different criteria for Heat culture than we do for Raptor culture. In some ways, Raptor culture starts with good citizen, good dude, high IQ, good teammate. Heat culture starts with, is this a guy who nobody's looking at, who's not in the draft, that has a lot of talent, and we don't really care about their character. We just want somebody who's going to come in as a non-draft pick and just kick some ass. I think it's different. I think that what we look for is a bit different than what Miami looks for. I really do think that. I think that the idea of the Heat culture and the Heat kind of player is very true. But I think that the Raptors culture and the Raptors type of player is different. There's similarities in both the profiles, but there is an aspect that's a little bit more intellectual and a little bit more thought out as far as psychology and team fit and just being a good dude. That's what Chris Boucher said. If you're even in the door with the Raptors, you're a really good person and a good player because they ain't letting any old knucklehead put on the Raptors red chevron. No, they're not. They're not. So it's a little different. It's a little different. If you think about it, like somebody like whatchamacallit, idiot from a couple years ago, that I can't even remember his name, not Duncan Robinson, but the other guy that was just like him, who made an anti-Semitic remark on a camera on a stream, a game stream once, and he's gone. Like, is he even in the league at this point? That there's been some missteps with character by the Miami Heat, and Ware may very, very well be one of them. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. Trevor J saying this: people always find something to complain about. When it's good, they complain about it. When it's bad, they complain about it. You can never please everyone. I'm gonna guess that this reporter for the WNBA is American, and in some ways this is part of this bullshit, the lens. Okay, I'm up here in Canada, and there's a little bit of kind of bullshit through that lens, right? The whole conditioned American media person that kind of looks down on Canada and downplays us whatever way they can. It could very well be that they saw the vibes for the Sky game, and they could very well be a person that favors the Chicago Sky on the down low, because it seems like there's a lot of established WNBA media people that are for certain teams on the down low. And maybe it hurt them to see the Tempo beat the Sky so badly on Sunday at the game I went to. Maybe they didn't like the vibes of the overtime game against Connecticut, and they're like, man, this is getting too good, and the vibes are too interesting. I want to rain on their parade. I want to start talking about all the negative things about the Coca-Cola Coliseum and the experience for Tempo fans at the Tempo game. This person actually complained that they don't throw enough t-shirts out to the crowd. Like, seriously, okay, all right, look, they just started. They're not going to have a high-powered t-shirt cannon like the Raptors do. They're not going to have like 30 people out there throwing shirts in every direction. In some ways, they said they're cheaping out, and they said this is the section of the game, and they gave like 2 prizes to 2 people in one section, and nobody else in the section got anything. How can you say that? I'm like, look, times are tough. Economics are tough. And as one answerer to them said, we have a less revenue stream than the new franchises. We have the smallest capacity out of all the new franchises. The Valkyries have a much bigger arena. The Fire have a bigger arena. And we have to balance the budget. And in some ways, they may be cheaping out on the swag and the things to give to people because right now they haven't generated enough money. They just had to pay WNBA NBA franchise entry fee. That's a huge number. And it could very well be that some of this stuff economically for the Tempo right now is a little cash strapped on the books initially in the beginning before they get going with making more money from merchandise and tickets and stuff like that. So it's like you got to look at the big picture. And in some ways, once again, not all teams are the same in these leagues. Everybody expects the Raptors to do everything the same as other NBA teams. Well, don't expect the Tempo to do the same as all the other WNBA teams. It's just we're starting out and we're figuring it out. And we don't even have a mascot. So give it up. Just get over yourself. They're even saying stuff like the fans aren't even making distractions at the end of the courts for the other team when they're shooting free throws. That's not true. I've seen it on TV. The people, they just made up a bunch of horse crap. I felt like they saw a lot of good things happening in Toronto, and they're like, I want to rain on their parade a little bit and just be a Debbie Downer and just point out all this little bullshit here, a little bullshit there. There's a lot of kinks to be worked out, and Teresa Resch is on it. Let's just put it that way. Let's just put it that way. Fiercely saying, Lex, are you trolling when you say LeBron deserves it? No, I'm being absolutely honest. We deserve, in some ways I am on the down low, but let's just put it this way. There's 3 things I'm doing. I do truly believe he is one of the greatest players ever, of course, and that he does deserve all the money in the world from the NBA because he made the NBA over the last few decades, right? He's the guy. He's the man. Second, I think that he's doing this to fuck with the Lakers, and I approve of it. I think it's awesome. So I think, yeah, you want to tell them that you deserve the max money? You do it, LeBron. I don't know. At your age, what is max money? $600 million a year? Is that what it is for you, man? Or what is it? Either way, I get it. You're severing your ties with the Lakers one way or another. And then third, I am trolling. Sure. I'm trolling Lakers Nation and I'm trolling the whole situation right there. Because I know that Lakers fans get all giddy knowing they have Luka and LeBron and Austin. And well, you can't have all that. You're going to lose one of them this summer. That's right. And it's probably James. That's it. Yeah, fiercely, it's a three-prong attack there. And there is some true trolling in the middle of it, but there is some truth to it too. Let's just put it that way. Let's see. And yes, makes sense. He knows that may be the only way to free himself from the organization. See, that's what it is right there. You can see it clear as day. Do you think that they want to invest max money in LeBron James for this year coming up? Maybe they will. Maybe they will, because maybe they will make it back in other ways coming back to them. But it'll definitely put them probably above the second apron, and it'll probably put them in some sort of weird place with their salary cap. That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, and nobody will talk about that contract and how much of a burden that is on the Lakers, like they talk about our stupid shit all the time. So people need to stop talking about the Raptors. We're in the middle of the pack in the salary cap situation, and we have flexibility. There's a lot of teams in this league that are not having any flexibility. Do we hear people talking about those contracts hamstringing their franchises? No. And understand that this is a media blitz of perception. And Raptors fans fall for this shit. Don't worry about the salary cap. We got Bobby Webster. He taught the NBA how to salary cap. So we're fine. Everybody worries about the salary cap with the Raptors. You don't need to, because we got the salary cap wonderkin. Bobby Webster is our GM. It's like, it's so stupid, man. So stupid. Yeah. Seymour saying hi to Eye Candy. And Cool Cat is here. Coach Cool Cat, good morning to you, TGIF. Hope you're having a great Friday morning so far. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. The Spurs players and coach are both young and inexperienced. Perfect match. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, in some ways, that don't make no sense to me. Like, why did y'all do that in San Antonio? Get a coach that's like Pop. You've had Pop there for so long. You guys wanted to make Mitch Johnson a 30-year coach too? Is that what you're trying to do? Man, there's only one Pop. I don't know if there ever will be another Pop like Pop. You know, to get that kind of longevity in a career with one coach for 30 years, it's so freaking rare in the NBA cutthroat business of coaching. You think you're going to groom Mitch Johnson to coach a team for 30 years? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Cool Cat saying Thursday, January 11th was OG Appreciation Day in New York. Gosh, OG's going to be a bigger star in New York than Toronto. Yeah, don't bring this up. This is sacrilege. Fuck this shit. Honestly, to me, OG's dead to me at this point. I love him, and he'll always have a place in my heart as originally a Raptor. But if he's going Knicks Nation full at this point, he's dead to me. I'm sorry, Cool Cat. And my fandom for him is not going to continue in some ways, like everybody else is glazing him right now. I know you love him and you're all about this, but fuck all this. I hate the Knicks so much. Do you see how their fan base is destroying property and attacking people and attacking restaurants and acting like this? This is why the Knicks should not ever win, is because just imagine if they do win the championship, just imagine the chaos and violence and unnecessary stupid shit happening just because these people are idiots. And New York fans, once again, you can't say, oh, it's not us, it's them. No, motherfuckers, it's all y'all. You are guilty by association for this. You want to change it? Clean up your acts. Seriously. And I am going to paint a wide brush. I don't give a shit. I have no reason to think any of y'all are worth a crap. So I'm just going to say all y'all suck. Your whole nation sucks because of bad apples. Yeah. And you guys don't deserve shit, because those are the kind of people that are going to be spurned into chaos if you guys get success. Honestly, at this point, we're so far in the season that you guys fail or lose, you're going to be rioting and causing death and destruction either way. They took a man's hand and put it in a fryer at a fast food restaurant, swarming him in a restaurant after they won the game by one. These people don't deserve jack shit. They never deserved OG, and they don't deserve fucking feeling good or any of the celebration or any of the bullshit that's coming. I'm telling you right now, Cool Cat, I am not pro Knicks in any kind of way right now. And honestly, we could forget about ever mentioning OG on this channel ever again at this point. That's the way I feel about it. I won't ever do this to your guy Siakam, but I will do this to Anunoby, especially when he becomes such a pillar of Knicks history. And in some ways, yeah, it took a Raptor to drag y'all sorry asses out of this. But do you understand, Knicks, that maybe the NBA in some ways was glad you were dysfunctional and so shitty because of the societal chaos that y'all cause when you have any kind of thing you're playing for. That God forbid you guys have success going forward after this season because lives will be harmed. It's dangerous for the Knicks to play well and have a good season, obviously. So God forbid the Knicks' success going forward forever after this is what I would say. That's what I would say. And that's for humanity. That's for peace. That is for safety. It's like the Knicks winning is not good for society. It's dangerous because they're fucking mob mentality, piece of shit, hooligan fucking fan nation. Yeah. Yeah. We don't have people doing that up here in Toronto when the Raptors win. No, we don't. Most teams and cities do not. New York, you're a special case, and own it and stop trying to deflect and say that you're not that. You are that. And you just need to own it and fucking be like, you know what? Yeah, we are like that, but we want to change. Well, do better then and teach your children better. Maybe you fucking take care of your kids so you can raise them right so they're not running the streets fucking swarming people and shit like that. But yeah, Cool Cat, I'm going to say it just once. Let's not bring up OG anymore on this channel. We don't have to talk about him, especially if things are going to come around like this. If he wins Finals MVP, I'll be very glad because he'll have won it over Brunson. And I'll be happy about that. That will be the silver lining of the very dark, stupid-ass cloud coming from a possible New York championship very soon. That would be the only one. And God willing, if they do win, OG wins Finals MVP. Because that will look good in a lot of ways, in some ways for Raptors Nation still. And that may be the only salvageable thing is that, yeah, OG Anunoby went on to become a Finals MVP after his Raptors career. But yeah, whatever. Yeah, I get it. He's going to be more of a Knick for going forward. He's gone the Chris Bosh way. And in some ways, we got to say goodbye. And we may never see him come up as an alumni because they're going to hoard him. And they're going to say, no, he's Knicks guy. Why is he in Toronto? Why is OG in Toronto at a Raptors game? Because he's a Raptor too, motherfucker. And if he wants to come to Toronto to watch the Raptors play when he's retired, when he's later, yeah, let him do it, just like Oakley and JYD. Yeah, we've shared players, Marcus Camby, Tyrone Muggsy Bogues, Doug Christie. Yeah, we can share players, but y'all are so fucking pieces of shit in Knicks Nation. You're like, no, mine. Like a fucking Veruca Salt in the fucking Charlie and Chocolate Factory. I want an Oompa Loompa, Daddy. I want the Oompa Loompa. You can't have the Oompa Loompa, Veruca. I want the Oompa Loompa. These motherfuckers are saying that the OG is just Knicks now. Well, whatever. You go ahead and believe that. I still, Raptors fans, let him go. That's fine. Let him go. I don't care. Either way, OG was aloof. OG was fun. OG was great on our team. In some ways, I don't hate him, but I don't really love him either. So let's just put him in the neutral spot. I don't want him to go Chris Bosh, but it's a very high probability he's going to go Chris Bosh at this point and turn his back on his whole entire first part of his career. If he does that, so be it. It's your own fault, OG, and you'll lose out on the whole connection to this country, just like Kawhi. That's what I would say to that. Yeah. Yeah, this is a hot button topic for me. I'm very emotional about it, Cool Cat. Don't bring it up lightly. That's what I would say right now. Yeah. Yeah, blessings. I love you so much. Trevor's saying this, 2 more weeks left until the NBA draft. Yeah, that means that we're going to have a champion by then. Yeah. Yeah, y'all coming up this week. On the 18th, we're going to do the Thursday Think Tank, and we're going to do it on the NBA draft. So that'll be the day where I'm hoping I'll have everything together to do a report for y'all on presenting my final 5 suggestions for Bobby for the draft. I'll do 5 suggestions for the first round and for the second round pick too. So yeah, I'm going to go find out who my final 5 are in the next week, and I'll present it to you on the 18th of June. On the Thursday Think Tank next week. So, yeah, be ready for that on the schedule. That's right. That's right. Thursday Think Tank call-in show, NBA draft, Raptors. Let's talk about it. That's right. Fiercely saying, give more minutes to Dylan Harper tomorrow. I promise you the Spurs will have a better chance of winning. That's a lot of what I've been hearing from Spurs Nation is that they want Dylan more than De'Aaron. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. Neil's saying Spurs are going through their learning lessons just like the Knicks did last year and the Thunder did the year before that. It's all good. No, it's not. The Knicks winning is not good. There's nothing good about it. Satan is behind it, honestly. Anybody who's going to enrich a piece of crap like James Dolan, who's fucking horrible person, anybody's going to reward the fucking nation that has this kind of behavior in it. No, this is satanic antichrist shit if the Knicks win. Trust me. And once again, I'm going to remind everyone the New York Knicks fanboys that are on media are going to glaze the hell out of this and talk about it till we are sick of it. In fact, anybody in this Raptors nation that's just half-heartedly following the Knicks and rooting for them just for OG, you're going to regret that, because in the next 3 months, if they win, you're going to be so sick of hearing about the Knicks championship that you're going to fucking hate that you ever rooted for them. I'm going to tell you that right now. What I'm saying right now is going to come true. I'm going to be on the right side the whole time and say, yeah, I never fucking wanted this. And the people that wanted it, you're not going to want it in like the next few months when you see what comes of it. Trust me, you won't, because this is different. You don't understand. Knicks fans are some of the cockiest shit talking motherfuckers, and they're aggressive, and they will come into spaces and they will flaunt their fucking shit all over the place. We may get a bunch of trolls coming in here and just coming in and saying Knicks champions, Knicks champions, Knicks champions, and just coming in here all the time. Just like that idiot who talked about doing weird stuff in the middle of the court in a WNBA game. I'm just saying, y'all, we need to not think this is a good thing in any kind of way. This is different. This is the worst team in the league to win a championship out of all of them. You could deal with the Celtics and the Lakers winning because they've won in recent decades. They've both won in the last 10 years. So it's not like as special and as crazy and so much built up bullshit that we're going to hear from these people. That's the difference. And I don't think people understand this enough. It'd be similar if the Philadelphia 76ers won, because it's been since 83 for them. So there's a lot of pent up bullshit and bravado and shit talking and arrogance and just being a poor winner that's going to unload on the whole entire NBA world if the Knicks win. If they win, I still holding out that the Spurs can still figure it out and win 3 in a row. Seriously, man. Yeah, it's not all good, Neil. Trust me. And what I just said explains why. Yeah, Seymour saying this. OG Oh My is done. It's OG Hathaway now. Man found a lady with a sundress. Is he really with Anne Hathaway, or is this just bullshit? That she just thinks he's cute or something like that? Fuck Anne Hathaway and her bullshit Mother Mary movie. Fuck you, Anne Hathaway. Fucking stealing 2 sisters' image as a musical artist and making it into a movie and naming it the same exact name as their band. Fuck Anne Hathaway's bullshit. Fuck her. Her fucking sorry Hollywood establishment fucking plagiaristic piece of crap that Anne Hathaway is. Yeah. Yeah, I said it and I mean it, because Mother Mary is actually a band, and they're 2 sisters that have been making music for a long, long time, and they just stole their whole image and their whole identity and even their name and made it into a motion picture. Yeah, fuck Anne Hathaway and her stupid shit. And I don't give a fuck about any of this that y'all talk about New York shit today. That's right. Fiercely saying this, less minutes for Fox, please. Rookie's okay, better than him. Yeah, that's what we said already. James is saying, Lex, did you scout Yaxel Lendenborg already? OG Light. You know, I haven't looked at him. Didn't he come in last year? Like, I think I looked at him last year, and then he withdrew from the draft, right? This is the story with Yaxel, right? I'll go look at him as a refresher. All right, James, I'll do this. Because I think I'd scouted him last year, and then he withdrew his name at the last minute and held out and is coming back. All right, let's go look at Yaxel Okari Lendenborg, the scout of the day for the Raptor Freak stream here. He's from Puerto Rico. He's 23. He's actually Dominican and American. 6'9", 240 pounds. That's good size and a good age. Good age. So everything's checking out so far. He's an NCAA champion because he's on Michigan this year, and they just won, right? Yeah, he thought about coming out last year, right? And then he withdrew and he came back. I think that's what I remember hearing. All right, Yaxel. Let's go look at him. If I'm wrong on that, I've got him confused with somebody else, but I'm pretty sure that's what I remember. Yaxel. What an interesting name. It's kind of cool. I like his height and 6'9". That's the right height. That's what the kind of player I'm looking for right now. Where's he scouted at in the mocks? Like where's he going right now in the mock drafts? Because in some ways we want to make sure that he's realistic for where we're at, right? All right, I'm gonna watch this. This is highlights of him getting 27 points against Tennessee in the final to get the Michigan to the Final Four. So this is an Elite 8 game. Okay. All right, Tennessee versus Michigan. Yaxel Lendenberg is my scout. All right, let's see what's going on here. Number 23. He's got a nice little between the legs dribble, nice handles, a nice strong move, good first step. The defender was smaller, but he used his shoulder to get to the basket and he finished quite nice. Yeah, there's a lot of good fundamentals in the way he moves his body. I like the reverse with the left coming under, up and under. It shows a creativity to avoid the defender. Yeah, he split the defense too. He had four defenders in his vicinity and still got to the basket and scored. So that's a good sign. Let's see. Here we go. The other player's got the ball. He's rolling. He throws it to him in the corner. Corner throws it out to him at the wing, and boom, there's a three. It's a nice set shot. It looks like he's got a very nice form and technique. Here he is. He catches again. Same shot. Yeah, it's very duplicated. Looks like he's got some good shot mechanics so that he can be a dependable shooter. Let's see. He's on the break. He's running on the one side. Oh, they drop it off to him. Yeah, that's not going to work in the NBA. That's a slow college play that where somebody's just not playing good defense. He seems like a very strong body already. I think that with an NBA weight training program, he'll be really good. Wow, that was a weird, goofy play. I like the second effort. He didn't get it cleanly, but he jumped up again and got the second effort to put it back. That's good. That shows good stuff there. So far, everything I'm seeing is very good. That's a nice transition, one-handed dunk, splitting the defense even. It's like those guys got out of the way. It's like, okay, I'm going to get out of the way. I'm going to be an imposter if I don't. All right, let's see. Here's more. I like the diversity. He's got a good mix of balance between threes and going to the hoop. So it looks like he keeps them guessing. That's important, honestly. That's important. Sometimes I see too much outside and not enough inside, or vice versa. And right now we're seeing a plethora of different offensive skills that he can be doing and utilize. Oh wow, he missed the three, crashed the boards from the 3-point line, and came in and put it back in. Yeah, this guy's great. This guy's great. I think I do remember him from last year being pretty good. And I'll do it again. I'll say thumbs up on Yaxel Lendenborg. If he is the name that we call for our team, I'll be very happy because he looks like he's a good prospect. And he looks like he would be somebody that could be in the band of brothers of Murray-Boyles and Barnes. Yeah, he looks like somebody that could be running with them. You call him OG Light? Man, too soon. Come on now. Come on now. Seymour saying, James, there's no point. That man Yaxel will be off the board when it's our pick. See, Seymour saying he's not going to be there. He's not going to be there. Well, we'll see. Jacoby Walter was projected to go way before the 19th pick, and he landed on 19 for us still. So draft day, anything can happen, Seymour. Are you saying there's a chance? Well, maybe it could be a chance for Yaxel. Speaking of Jacoby, our Raptors Redditor of the day is XL Condom. And he spelled dumb like the condom with dumb at the end of it. And they're an Anunoby fan. But yeah, they're putting on blast Jacoby Walter because he's been in the gym. There's been a lot of footage and posts on his social media showing off the work he's putting in on his body. Now, this has been consistent since Jacoby came in the league from Baylor. In the summer that year, he was a little skinny kid. And I was scared for him because he didn't have no muscle at all. And it was actually really impressive how quickly he built muscle during the NBA season in his rookie year, because honestly, you're expending so much energy running up and down the court. And as a youngster, his age, his metabolism has slowed down yet. So to build muscle and keep it on is very hard. And well, he's consistently, like if we're looking at a line graph of Jacoby Walter's muscle mass since he got drafted by the Raptors, it's just going straight on up because he is a swolter is what they're calling him. Jacoby Swolter, because the man has more muscle just even since the playoffs. In like the last month, this man, I don't know what he's been doing, but keep doing it. And maybe tell Grady how you did it too. Because man, this dude is like, he came back last year for his second season, even more jacked up than his rookie year. So it's like if you check in with Jacoby Walter every 6 months, his body has changed. Let's just put it that way. Every 6 months since he was drafted by the Raptors 2 years ago, you can see his body has changed every 6 months. If you come in and check him, and he's changed once again. It's crazy, man. Boulders for shoulders, indeed. And this dude is a badass, and we are very lucky and proud of Jacoby Walter, Toronto Raptor. That's right. Thank you for being the Redder of the day, XL. XL. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Fiercely saying tempo marketing team, very creative. Yeah, I like that menu. I think that menu is awesome. I want it to be real. Like y'all should be serving this stuff. I know that'd be very expensive to source all this, to have it on a mass scale, and the kitchen and all the cooks you need to serve it at the arena. But maybe there should be like an exclusive club like there is at the Scotiabank Arena, like the Drake Club, where you have like a very small exclusive chef kind of output where you can do this still. I don't know. I don't know. I think you should at least do it for the players. Let them try their own dishes, because I bet they've seen this thing and they've been kind of like, "Oh, that's cool. Oh, my dish." And like maybe some of them looked at their menu and they're like, "I would never eat that." They're like, "Ah, that sounds gross. I would never eat that." Some of them may be like, "Oh my gosh, I want to try it. I want to try this so bad." Maybe they have like personal chefs and they're like, "Could you make this? Because I want to try this." You want a macho miso Niara? Yeah. Yeah, on the salmon. Can you reduce it? And can you make the matcha on the salmon? Oh my gosh, it sounds so good. Could you do it? Please. I'll try. Yeah, that would be cool. Maybe at least their personal chefs would give a attempt to make the menu, the all-star menu for, can you make mine? And then I want Tima's for dessert. I think that's cool. James is saying this. He might fall. He's an old rookie. Plus, he's had some bad workouts with teams. See, I love this. James, in some ways, man, I feel like you've been really on top of this. James, when I do the think tank next week, I in some ways want you to be my expert, because it seems like you really are on top of the college draft this year better than any of the most of the Raptor freaks. You're better than me, at least. In fact, James, I know you've never called into my show, but if you called next Thursday for the think tank and gave me your picks for who you want, I would be delighted if you did that, man. Seriously. I would be delighted if you called in next Thursday and did James's Raptor Freak James picks, who he thinks Bobby should draft. I would love that, man. I'll have to see if you got the number, figure it out. Seymour's saying, interesting. If he can get him, but I don't see him on the board at 19 unless we trade down. I always think, what is it, trade down or trade up? Because we're trading up in the draft if we trade 19 to get higher. So I always think that that's the wrong way. It'd be like, oh, we're trading down to get like a pick in the 20s instead of 19. There's been some buzz about trading our pick and switching our pick, or just getting a straight up player. I don't know. Once again, we know the behavior of Bobby Webster with Masai Ujiri, and now without him, is not to do a lot of like moves just for the sake of moves. In some ways, it's like it has to be a really good opportunity that really makes sense, where we get something from it for them to even shake things up. So I don't expect the Raptors to move off of 19. I really don't. I think that we often hear them say stuff like Dan Tolzman or Bobby will say, we're comfortable with the position we're in to get the draft pick where we are. I think that a lot of times fans want this kind of stuff to happen because they like it. It's exciting. So they project ideas. Oh, the Raptors are going to trade up in the draft and they're going to try and get a top 10 pick, and they're going to trade Jakob Poeltl to do it. I'm like, come on now. That I think there's a lot of, like, once again, there's a lot of fan fiction and fan perception that is just not realistic to Bobby and living on the moon as a GM. And I think that, once again, we look at the track record of the Raptors. How often are they trading their pick to move to a different pick in the draft because they really covet somebody they're trying to go get? This doesn't happen very often. This does not happen very often. So, yeah, let's see. Fiercely saying, okay, I'm hungry now. Menu is fire. Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for bearing with me to let me read all the dishes. In some ways, I wanted to read them all just to kind of go over them and see the personalities. Very, very creative, whoever came up with that whole thing. Really, really good job. The tempo. A++ on that. Seriously. Seriously. Yeah. Let's see. I lost my place. It's Randolph. We're at Randolph here. Good morning, Randolph. What up, beloved Raptor Freaks family? Hope everyone is doing great. You are blessed by the Lord, and you're highly favored and flavored with love and kindness. Did you say that because of the menu? He's like, you're highly flavored in with love and kindness. I love that. I love that. Thank you, Randolph. I appreciate you guys for helping me cultivate a deeper connection with God and just having a more spiritual connection with life and creation. You guys really have been a bridge for me, Trevor and Randolph specifically. And I appreciate you guys so much. Blessings to Phyllis family and all the Rapid Freak families. That's right. Yeah. Seymour saying Yaxel might be Jalen Williams 2.0 for Thunder if J Dub don't get healthy. That's interesting. Yeah. Salute both our RJs. I go to the grocery store yesterday and they have this licorice that's from New Zealand, I think, because I don't buy anything American at the grocery store at all anymore. I gave up Orville Redenbacher. Sorry, no more popcorn, Orville Redenbacher. I gave up Coca-Cola. Yeah, I won't drink a Coca-Cola in the Coca-Cola Coliseum Slim. No, I won't, because I boycott American products. Elbows up. That's right. But yeah, RJ's licorice is from New Zealand. And I'm like, I always think of RJ when I buy it. It's like RJ's licorice. It's a brand. And I'm like, RJ. That makes me think of Barrett. Makes me think of Barrett. Speaking of straight goods on Canadian goods, I got a weird one today. This one's good because you can actually feed your family with this one. And this is a really cool idea. And this is something I've started to do myself, is grow my own mushrooms. There's a small company here in Ontario called Mushroom Meadows. And they have a headquarters in a couple of little small towns in Ontario. And specifically, I think they're in Sunderland and Claremont or something like that. But either way, two brothers started this company, and this is basically a kit. This is a kit. This is a box you would buy from them, and inside this box is a bunch of spores and medium. And basically, what you do is like you rip open this little log part here, and you spray it with water for like days, or like 2 or 3 times a day, and the water will seep into the bag, and it'll like activate the spores, the I always say the word wrong. The myco whatever stuff, the mycelium. That's what it is. And basically, after a couple weeks, like lettuce grows, you'll have actual mushrooms you can pick from this and eat that are edible. This variety that I have right here is pink oyster. But yeah, this is a homegrown kit. And on the side, it has the instructions and everything. And it's super simple. You just got to put it in a dark part of your house so it's not getting a lot of sunlight, and you will get mushroom sprouting. In fact, I have another kit inside that has a bunch of mushrooms that are growing out of it right now. But yeah, check it out. This is a small business here in Ontario, Mushroom Meadows, and you can probably find them online, and you can order this, or find their farm and go to them personally. I bought this at a farmer's market. The guy had a stand set up there, and I learned more about growing your own mushrooms through him. But yeah, check out something like this. This is straight goods on Canadian goods. Small business, Mushroom Meadows. Get your own mushroom growing kit. And who knows, maybe you'll be getting more supplemental food for yourself somehow. These are a little expensive, so I don't know if you'll make the money back. But the thing is, it's $25. It's not that expensive. It's $25. And who knows how the amount of mushrooms you get from each box. So, but you learn more about that, and who knows, maybe you're going to be able to grow your own mushrooms over time. That's the goal for me, because I have a very shady, woodsy forest lot that has a lot of shade and a lot of natural mushrooms growing here already. So I might as well grow mushrooms that I can eat too, right? There you go. Straight goods on Canadian goods, Mushroom Meadows. Support local Canadian Ontario businesses. That's what I say right there. Yeah. Yeah. Trevor's saying that magazine with Mabry and Sykes was on the shelf from yesterday. So yeah, the Slam magazine finally went out. It finally hit the newsstands, and some of the people got it mailed to them finally that bought it. So yeah, the $1 million backcourt is on newsstands around the world right now on Slam magazine. So you can see it at your local newsstands at your airport or wherever. You're getting on a plane, you're looking for something to read. Well, go ahead and grab that Slam with Marina and Slim on it. That's right. That's right. G saying this. Mystics have been losing lately, so they may come out and try to get things going. Come out hot. they had a lot of success against us in the first game, and a lot of it centered around their center, Austin. So, you know, I think it's going to be interesting to see Temi return and see how she integrates with the team and what they've been doing already while she's been out. I think it'll be interesting to see if Temi can be effective in any kind of way in slowing down Kyra Austin. I think this is a key to the game tonight. Like, because she really dominated us and won that game. It was a three punch. It was Kyra, it was Sonya with her shooting and her scoring, and then Irfan with her rebounding and her length were problems in the first game. And well, Irfan's looking like she might be out tonight. But yeah, we need to contain Citron and we need to contain Austin. These are important, essential players for their team to be successful. And if they are not doing well, we can beat the Mystics. In some ways, we owe them. We owe them. We need to even the season series. And to boot, this is a Commissioner's Cup. So yeah. Yeah, we got to do this. That's right. That's right. Trevor's saying the Sky lost again last night, the Fever. No surprises there. There's a lot of trouble and problems with the Chicago Sky right now. A lot of problems. Kaloy's here. He's saying, morning, everyone. And let's see. Salute Carlo JS. See, it's doing that weird thing. It's like translated your word salute, Seymour, to cheers. I don't understand this. What does this translate? I think I might have some sort of setting on here. I got to change it. Miles Leonard, that's who it was. He got kicked off the Heat for saying anti-Semitic remark, which was anti-Semitic. There's the word anti-Semitic's been thrown around a lot. And this was a case where it was apropos, but most of the time it's not. It's not apropos. It's not. Trevor's saying, y'all see Jacoby's new photo? He's looking like like a honk. A honk. Trevor's accent with audio put in is so funny sometimes. He looks like a honk, honk, honk. No, man's looking swole. Man is looking like Jacoby Swalter is what they're calling him. And the more Serge Ibaka looking you are, the better you are in your career. Let's just put it that way. The more you look like Serge Ibaka's shoulders and bodies, yeah, you're moving the right direction, Jacoby. Keep going. Keep going. Kaloy's saying, is that hard to find another pop? It's that hard to find another pop. I hope we have ours in Darko. Hey, Bobby, announce the Darko extension now. I was wondering, the extension on Darko isn't necessarily up to Pelly and Rogers. It's up to Bobby, right? Because it's under the umbrella of basketball stuff, right? Does Bobby have to talk to Keith Pelly about extending Darko at all? No, maybe they have to talk about the money and what he can get paid and fitting it all in the budget. But I would think that the decision to keep Darko on is actually Bobby's decision and not Keith Pelly and Ed Rogers. If he's the basketball operations manager, if he's the one who's doing the basketball things, well, the person who's in charge of firing, hiring, and extending the coach is Bobby Webster. So, yeah, I'm sure this will happen soon. I don't think anybody's sweating this. The press is expecting it. And I think that Darko's expecting it too. Yeah, I think he's expecting it too. I don't see anything weird happening here. I hope, knock on wood. Kaloy saying Raptors came to see Colin for his 21st birthday. Yeah, I saw some footage of this. This is one of the downsides of me not doing the Instagram stories anymore. Is there is some stuff that's happening with the Raptors behind the scenes that I'm not highlighting, but I love when you guys bring it up. I saw at least J-Bo was there. I forget who else was there. A bunch of people were in South Carolina celebrating Colin's birthday with him in person. And the Raptors posted happy birthday to him, and he reposted it. That was like the only birthday post almost that he reposted on his Instagram stories. So Colin, hopefully you had a really good birthday week. And that's really special and awesome that your teammates came to Columbia and celebrated with you. That was awesome, man. Columbia, South Carolina. Yeah, that was really good. Cool Cat saying, no, Lex, I'm not a Knicks supporter. I wanted the Spurs to win. The fan base turns me off. I hate watching OG games, not supporting Knicks at all. I know you aren't. I'm just a sore subject right now. I want to ignore them completely. Honestly, I might ban the word Knicks from my channel if things start going in a certain way in the next game. I mean, I don't want to have anything to do with this. As much as I've said this in the last couple of days, as much as they ignored our championship in 2019, a lot of people did. I'm going to do the same thing to them. If they win, I will ignore their championship. In fact, I won't even acknowledge it because that's what they did to the Raptors when we won. And turnabout is fair play. I did the same thing to the Celtics too. When the Celtics won their championship a couple years ago, I ignored it. I didn't acknowledge it. Most I did was we have to respect the Celtics because they're the champs. And that's all I said, but I didn't celebrate it. I didn't put it on blast. I barely talked about it. You guys can remember that. I didn't do any kind of celebration stream like I did for other teams that have won since I've done this channel. Like I did a celebration for Golden State for Andrew Wiggins as a Canadian. I did a celebration, obviously, last year for SGA and Lou Dort winning their championship last year. Heck, I think I even did a celebration for the other champion, Denver, for Jamal Murray. It's basically focusing on the Canadians winning the championship. But in this one, I will not do any kind of stream acknowledging the Knicks if they win. If the Spurs win, I'll acknowledge them. Yeah, if the Spurs come back and win, I will. I know you're not. I know you're a big OG fan, though. It's just that I don't want to talk about him. I feel like everywhere is talking about him right now. And I don't want to be one of those places. In some ways, let's just ignore this. In some ways, let's ignore this. Yeah, Shaq Lindsay saying, why are we still questioning the OG trade? I love OG, but I still think we got to steal. RJ and IQ is still unproven, but their talent is undeniable. Let OG have his moment, just like Pascal or Fred. Time will tell. I think this is right. I think Shaq Lindsay is exactly right. And thanks for supporting the channel. I think that basically the payoff for OG is a little bit hitting earlier than the one for Barrett and Quickly. And this is part of the subterfuge is like Knicks Nation to make sure that they really win the trade is to make sure that we're all shaky about Barrett and Quickly and possibly even move on from them before we actually get the payoff from them. That's part of the devious shit for this. It's like in some ways they're young players and we're on a different schedule than the Knicks, but I'd like to see them pay off and come through here. That's why there is such a movement to try and get RJ or IQ off our team by forces that hate us. Because think about it. Knicks Nation will be able to say this about OG, and then they'll say, well, we traded these guys to you guys, and they're not even on your team anymore. That's their ultimate goal. So remember this, Raptors fans, when you're throwing IQ and RJ under the bus and any kind of bullshit in relation to the trade that brought them to our team. Remember this, what I just said. If you can't see it with your own eyes, I just explained it. Can you understand it from my perspective? So cherish and protect and honor Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett. And let's get them to be successful on our team and be champions on our team. And then this trade can be reassessed then. That's what I would say to that right there. That's right. Time will tell, won't it, Shaq Lindsay? That's right. Time will tell. Seymour saying, when I called out the New York behavior, Lex called it business as usual, laugh out loud. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know that these people are like this because it's been consistently like this. You can look back at any point where the Knicks had any kind of meaningful run in an NBA season, there's been violence and stupid shit happening around it. It's like as soon as they have meaningful games in the playoffs, they could just make the playoffs and be in the first round. There's going to be a riot. There's going to be people getting hurt. There's going to be people getting swarmed. This has been consistent at least for the last 20 years. But the thing is, y'all don't remember this or understand this because the Knicks have not been a playoff team for most of the last 20 years. So, but the years when they rise up and they have anything to do with it, ugly things happen. And yeah, we don't need this disgusting behavior, as Seymour put it, with his pukey faces. Yeah. Yeah. Kaloy saying lunatic hooligan fans plus evil owner plus punk ass celebrities. I'm calling on the basketball gods. Do I need to sacrifice another goat? You do that if you need to. And let Santino be a man. That's right. I keep making this joke. You know, Kaloy is for real. They will slaughter a goat and they will eat it because it is culture and cuisine. And it's a feast for the people. And well, to be a man, young Santino, hold the knife steady and you will slaughter the goat and hopefully diminish the championship dreams of New York Knickerbockers nation right now. I love that. Let the innocent do the deed to make it happen. Seymour saying Texas showed hospitality. New York sent people to the hospital. Well, this is the thing, man. I get it. There's some bad people there. Well, maybe the police need to do better, or maybe the parents need to do better, or maybe the society in general needs to just be better overall. Once again, it's just like it's uncalled for and unnecessary and just reprehensible. Let's just put it that way. That's right. That's right. Yeah, Seymour likes the goat joke. There you go. Shaq Lindsay saying we need to understand paying OG what Scotty is making would be a huge mistake by the Raptors. Scotty is on another level. I don't even think it's fair. BI should be making near to what he's making. I think that there's some truth to this. I think there's some truth to this. We got to realize Brandon's 10 years in and it's a work acquired thing. And in some ways, we're paying for the gravity, we're paying for the reputation, we're paying for, the ability for him to do what he's done historically for years in the NBA. And that's worth it to a degree. You need to have good players on your team. And we know that Brandon Ingram is in that category with Kawhi Leonard and Vince Carter as far as he can be an unstoppable guy if he's healthy and hot, and he can kick ass and win a game for our team. So it's different skills. I agree. Scotty is the way best, maybe the greatest Raptor that ever played for us, and the best, most athletic, most talented, greatest one ever. And I'm including Kawhi, okay? Because down the road, it's going to show more and more. And but it's a different kind of skill and a different kind of thing that's valuable to our team. So Brandon getting paid like him is important because first of all, he has seniority, and second, the skills that Brandon has are not common in the NBA. And the things that Brandon can do are very valuable. Very, 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 very valuable. Very valuable. That's right. Let's see. Kaloy saying it just means this team produces championship level game changers. Well, this looks so good. The 2019 championship team looks so freaking good. So freaking good. And we're seeing people arguing online about where that team's place is in history and how it would do against other great teams. And I mean, seriously, if you look at that team's the top 8 guys we had and what they are and who they have been and all the accomplishments they've all had all throughout their careers, the older guys who are just finishing up in Gasol and Ibaka, and and then you have the young guys who weren't even blossomed and gotten their full potential, like Powell, Van Vliet, and Anunoby and Siakam. It's just a very special, important team, and it's a testament that Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster are good GMs in front office, and we still have that guy in charge without Ujiri at this point. So we should trust our front office because Bobby Webster was one of those people that put that group together, and we see who they are years later now. Yeah, we see who they are. In fact, the core, I would say right now that we have, they could have the potential to flower and blossom in the next 10 years, much like the 2019 championship team. And all of a sudden, you're going to see Shed getting an all-star at some point, or Walter. And these kind of things will be like that. They'll be like Fred and Norman. You know what I'm saying? Shed and Walter. And the greatness of them will blossom and they will go on just like those guys. That's the whole point of why Shed's wearing 23. And in some ways, he wants to be like Fred VanVleet. He wants to come and blow up and get bigger and bigger through the Raptors system, even as a backup point guard right now. Because Fred did it. He could do it too, right? He could do it too. Yeah. James is saying that the updated mocks are showing Yaxel at number 20. There you go. That's right there in front of us. There you go. So it's possible. It's possible. We could see. Yeah. Shaq Lindsay saying, after what I saw by those disgusting New York fans, well, I think we need to probably reconsider deploying ICE in New York. Well, that's what I've heard, actually. No, seriously. This isn't a joke. I've heard somewhere that Trump is redeploying ICE into New York City because of them booing him at the game the other day. That he's punitive. We know Trump is a little baby, and if somebody spites him or wrongs him or does something that he doesn't like to him, he will come at them with criminal charges, like the woman that got successfully sued him for raping her, and now he's coming at her with a civil lawsuit afterwards, like not a civil lawsuit, well, a government lawsuit, which was messed up, using the government weaponized. Well, from what I've heard, he wants to send more ICE into New York City because of the reaction he got at the game the other day. That's what I heard, Shaq Lindsay. That's what I heard. Chloe's saying this: if that guy falls to 19, I think we're taking him. There you go. There you go. Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. Hey, T's here. Good morning, Kareem Thomas, the dunk champion of the Raptor Freak channel. I'm at the bank and kind of just daydreaming of me robbing the teller. I don't know why I'm like this. I guess watching Heat yesterday is affecting my thoughts today. That's a great movie. It's a fantastic movie, man. Yeah, you watched Heat and now you want to rob the bank? Man, you better be glad we're not in Minority Report or something like that where they can read your thoughts. That would be a weird place where it's like, that's what we need to worry about with AI. Like Kareem could be putting this into this chat. AI detects him, possible bank robber. And then like the police show up at his door. Hey, we heard you were thinking about robbing the teller at the bank the other day. How'd you know that? Algorithms in the phone and surveillance state. Yeah, but how did you know that? That was in my brain. We just figured it. You ever seen that movie? Yeah, we can figure out ahead of time when people are going to do stuff now. Oh, really? That's not the way we want people to get like charged with crimes. They didn't even do it. You know what I'm saying? So be careful with your thoughts going forward. Just a warning, seriously. You don't want to think about that. I don't know. Maybe you're just a criminal mind. Maybe you're just a you're a rogue. You're a rebel. You're an unruly person in society that just wants to fuck shit up. I don't know. What is it, KT? What makes you want to do that? Was it Robert De Niro and Al Pacino's great classic, the Heat, the movie? Yeah. Did it look fun? The way that they made that armored truck roll over and ran in and yelling, and then it got all screwed up because of that bearded guy, and then they were like mad at him. Yeah, I love that movie. That's a good movie. That scene with Pacino and De Niro in the diner, oh my gosh, that was the first time they ever sat face to face on camera and did a scene off of each other. And boy, was it epic. So much texture and so much subtle acting in that scene between Robert De Niro and Al Pacino when Al Pacino's chasing down Robert De Niro, the bank robber, and he's like, I've got you. You know I've got you. You're never going to get me. Never going to get me. Oh, what a great movie, man. I know I fucked that up. I was like, I got you. I got you. I'm going to get you. You're never going to get me. And then that light came on at the airport. Oh, don't give it away, Lex. Shut up. You can tell I love that movie. Yeah. We need to draft Cameron, Sanak, Junior, Merez, or Jaden. Jaden, the center for Kentucky, who's had some injury concerns recently. Maybe the stock has dropped a little bit, maybe to 19, maybe. Don't need a small guard. I know. And there's a strong push on Raptors Reddit that somebody has just decided, well, we're drafting a guard, guys. Okay, who made you king of drafting? And just saying, we're just drafting a guard, guys. And everybody keeps saying we need a point guard. I don't see this need. We do not need a point guard. We have Emmanuel Quickly who can switch. He's a combo guard, and he's very effectively done point guard this past season. In fact, I think this is why Knicks fans are intensifying the need for a point guard for the Raptors, is because they want to push this on us, along with their mainstream media of ESPN suggesting point guards to us in their mock drafts. And once again, Raptors fans that are sheep that want to believe our enemies telling us is what's good for us, stop listening to them. We don't need a point guard. Scotty's our backup point guard. Do you guys think we need a point guard? I don't think we need a point guard. RJ can play point guard too. Jacoby can play point guard. Jamal Shed is our backup point guard, and he's a true point guard. We don't need a point guard. Point guard is, once again, the easiest position to find in the league. There's tons of point guards out there. There's so many point guards. They're dime a dozen. Centers and bigs are hard to find, and they're rare. And in some ways, people have to start factoring in part of the value of Jakob Poeltl and some of these centers on that they are rare. If it's a Pokemon card, I'll explain it to the nephews in a way they can understand. This is an ultra rare Pokemon, and that's a Pikachu. That's common point guard. Yeah. Center is more maybe rare or not very common, maybe ultra rare, mythic, whatever you want to call it, legendary, whatever the fuck the designation for the rarities of Pokemon cards is, nephews. Point guards are common. Point guards are Pikachus. So you want to fucking draft a Pikachu? That's what you want to draft? No, I want to draft a Blastoise. Yeah. I want to blast a Mewtwo. Yeah. I want to get a rare one, motherfucking Pokemon Go motherfuckers. Y'all want to get point guards. Point guards are, you can get a fucking point guard from CBL. You can get a point guard from the 905. Why do we need to draft a point guard? Reed fucking Shepard. Fuck that shit. We don't need a point guard in this draft. And all the Raptors Nation that are so dead set, obviously we're drafting a point guard. Somebody actually wrote that on Reddit. Well, it's obvious we're going to draft a point guard, guys. Why? Why do you think that? That don't make no fucking sense to me. We're good at point guard. We got depth at point guard. We don't have no centers. We don't have a size. You're an idiot. And whoever's pushing this down our throats, this is Jalen Suggs shit. That's what this is. Mislead the Raptors fans so they get all butthurt when the draft actually happens. And it doesn't happen the way that they thought, because Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster ain't following the script of ESPN and thinking that the bad information that they're feeding Raptors Nation and misleading and gaslighting Raptors fans. Jalen Suggs, why didn't you get Jalen Suggs? Who the fuck is Scotty Barnes? That's it right there. And that's what this point guard shit is this right now with this draft. That's what this is. And Raptors fans, you can choose to be duped yourself if you want to. I'm not duped. I understand this shit. Point guards are a dime a dozen. You can get a point guard on the corner of downtown Toronto and fucking say, hey, you want to come play for the Raptors? Yeah, I'm just down here at the edge of Bathurst next to Billy Bishop Airport, and I'm running down here on this iconic court at the Toronto waterfront. And yeah, I could run point guard. Yeah, because I got the right height too. That's the thing people don't realize. Know your fucking Pokemon card rarities, nephews, is what I'm trying to tell y'all right now. It's Friday, a freak out. Just for y'all. And let's intertwine some Pokemon with it. Why not? That's right. Don't need a small guard. That's right. We want a big boy. We want a big guy. We want a long wingspan, and we want shot blocking. We want rebounding. That's right. Yeah, one of those bad boys will do, Shaq. That's right. One of those guys. Boozer, that's not happening. We know Boozer's not coming here. Sinak, maybe. Morez, that may not be close to happening either. He seems like he's pretty high up in the draft. And same with Jaden. I think Chris Sinak may be the most realistic out of all those. Yeah. Cloy's saying we can use the second round for those small dog point guards. Yeah. It's just like a Jamal Shed. Look at that. We got our backup point guard in the second round. Why would you waste a first round pick on a point guard when you can get a badass point guard in the second round like Jamal Shed? That's what I'm saying. They're a dime a dozen. There's so many point guards out there. You know how many people are my height or shorter that can play basketball? There's tons of us. There's not very many 7-footers that can. That's what I'm saying. When people say draft best position available, well, that position may be a legendary, ultra rare, crazy ass Charmander or something, Dragon or whatever the fuck the ultimate mutation of Charmander is, or whatever, Charizard or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. I'm not a Pokemon nerd. I don't know what the ultimate mutation of Charmander is, or whatever the fuck, I don't know what it is. Yeah, that's right. All right, let's see. Shaq saying, I heard that the Raptors really like Sinak Jr. I've heard that too. That was from Samson Folk. I heard he's very rough, but he has a lot of tools. Listen, man, if he's got a good head on his shoulders, he's a fast learner, he's a good teammate, he fits our culture like that, Darko and them can get him going and get him developed. Trust me. In some ways, somebody being so raw is actually good, because they may not have a whole lot of bad habits already instilled, and you can start building the good habits around them as a blank canvas instead of taking out some bad stuff they already learned and fixing it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying right there. That's right. Isaac's got the mushrooms out. Okay, mushrooms, mushroom meadows, pink oyster. These are not psychedelic mushrooms. Kaloi. These are not. Let me know if I have any magic mushrooms. No, I don't have magic mushrooms. I will tell you, though, I used to pick magic mushrooms. Like, for real. I'd go out into the cow fields in Tallahassee, and I knew where to pick them. And I took the magic mushrooms from the cow fields. I didn't buy them. I would literally go get them myself and take them. It's a little risky. But it was fun too. You knew which ones the right ones. You had to know the specific little ring on the stem that would tell you it's the magic mushroom. Yeah, and you have to look for it on cow dung. That's the thing. So I was out in somebody's property. It turned out to be my ex-wife's family's property, by the way. I didn't know that at the time, but I was trespassing and running around on a cow field and picking these magic mushrooms in high school. This is how long ago it was. And then later on in life, I got married and I went to my in-laws' property, and I realized that I was on the property where I used to go and get magic mushrooms. And yeah. So I do have some experience with this stuff, but I don't take them anymore. I haven't taken mushrooms Since probably high school. I stopped doing them at a certain point. I really did. It was just a little experimenting. But I know how to pick them and I know where to go look. Yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting time in my life, high school. It's like DZ saying, my father is cheering for the Knicks, and a lot of Caribbean descendants also are because when they first came to North America, New York was the first stop in the journey of a new life. Spurs and stuff. Yeah, I could see this. Patrick Ewing, Jamaican roots. I can see this. I mean, you see it in our friend Milbester from Dominican man living in New York. And yeah, I get this. I can understand this. I have no ties in whatsoever with the city of New York in any kind of way. So I can't relate to this, but I can see where family histories, some of y'all have told me that you have connections to the city of New York in different ways, whether it's family or actually living there yourself. So, everybody's got their different experience. I've never set foot in that city in my life, and I don't have any connection to it. So for me personally, I don't have this, but I can see what you're saying, Slug DZ. I can see what you're saying here. It makes sense. Kareem's saying this: the trade works for both teams. OG winning this year is something he needs. He never participated in the first one. It's nice in some ways for that aspect. I will agree with that. But once again, we've got to understand we're dealing with a very childish, fucked up, messed up fan nation. And to them, everything's got to be about spin and perception, and they're going to downgrade us and put us down and make us look bad. And it matters to them whether they won that trade or not. It matters to them. In some ways, I could say it's a push, but to them, they really have to win it for some reason. And I feel like some of it has to do with unresolved feelings with RJ. I think that's part of it. I think that's part of it because they want to be right that RJ sucked and that they were right to cast him away. They want to be right about that. That's a whole part of this that we're not talking about enough is that the Knicks nation wants to be right and giving up on RJ and shipping him out in this situation. And if RJ goes on to be more successful after them, they're not going to like that. So they'll sewer him in perception. And remember, a lot of the NBA mainstream media is Knicks fans on the down low. And the media blackout on RJ Barrett is very much a discriminatory act by people with prejudice for the market that they cover because they love that team on the down low behind the scenes. And you're going to see this. Once again, I'll say this out loud. If the Knicks do win, God forbid it, God forbid the chaos and the destruction and possible deaths of the Knicks winning championship, you will see just how homer the whole entire media for the NBA is and how they celebrate this in the way they do. Because it'll come across very real and it'll come across in ways that are way extra than normal in an NBA year. And that's when you'll realize, wow, this is exactly what Lex has been talking about as far as the red carpet, the favoritism, the underlying help that's been pushing wind against their backs to try and get them this point, and the ineptitude of their owner and their franchise for so long held it back from doing this. And the floodgates will be open. And then you'll see all the cockiness, bravado, and the worst behavior in human beings coming from Knicks Nation. That's what I'm saying right here, guys. That's what I'm saying right here. That's right. That's right. Seymour saying Masai targeting Embiid to pair with Flag said it's a Gasol Kawhi connection. What? He wants to get Joel Embiid to Dallas? Why? Masai, you're smarter than this. Come on, man. Come on, man. Trevor's saying OG has not done anything wrong to us. Why are you going to hate him? Well, there's more information. He's a Nick. That's enough for me to hate him right there. He's bringing them success. I hate him for that. That's why I hate him, Trevor. And there's nothing wrong with that. In some ways, OG was always non-committal towards us. He was not the warm Raptor. He was not showing overtly that he was really into being a Raptor. He was very private. He was very mysterious. And honestly, from what I've heard is the whole last 2 years he was on our team, he was not really with us. He was checked out and kind of looking past us already. I don't like that. In some ways, I'll see how I feel about OG after his career's over and whether he embraces the chapter of the Raptors in his career. That will decide it. He can go the way of Chris Bosh, and that is what I think is going to happen, honestly and sadly. So, yeah, I can hate him. It's my right. It's a free world. I don't have to do the same thing as you, Trevor. You can like him still, but it's not that I hate OG as a person. I hate what he's done to help the Knicks. I hate him for that. I hate him for that. In some ways, if he was really who I want him to be, he'd come so close and then he'd fail and the Knicks would fail and they'd lose out. And I'd be like, yeah, OG, thank you for screwing up like De'Aaron Fox instead of doing it and making yourself a hero. That's it right there, Trevor. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's like DZ saying Kawhi made the worst decision in the history of the league, left the champion and didn't run it back, then had the nerve to say the talent was sus. He's the reason the Fred, Pascal, OG era failed, not Nick. Yeah, I could agree with this. Normally in the NBA, the team is allowed to try and run it back, and the Raptors were not afforded this. They could not handle a back-to-back Raptors championship because that's too much for this team. And in some ways, it's just like the same shit that got mad that the Orlando Magic made it the finals against Houston in 95. It's the same shit. Too soon, too quick for a franchise that's, we don't really want to be successful. This scares the shit out of us. The Raptors just won the championship. Oh my gosh, they actually are good enough to probably win next year. Get Kawhi out of there. Get Kawhi out of there as soon as possible. There's manipulation involved in this from the head office, not just from the Clippers, as far as Leonard leaving Toronto. Don't be naive to that. Seriously, don't be naive to that. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with this. I mean, in some ways, Fred and them will say, we thought we could do it without Kawhi. And in a lot of ways, they were doing it. But then you got a pandemic. Then you got Tampa. And those extraordinary circumstances really piled on to hurt that era post Kawhi. And it's not those guys' fault. Some people are having revisionist history and they're trying to say, what the fuck was wrong with the Raptors? Look at the roster they had with Pascal, OG, Scotty, and Fred right around when Scotty first showed up. Well, it wasn't working. It wasn't the right mix of guys. And there was a lot of other stuff going on around our team that wasn't helpful, like a Tampa year and, things like that, a pandemic. So, revisionist history is real easy to say. Well, look at it on paper. They should have been so good at this point. But you also got to remember Nick Nurse wasn't totally with things too. And like OG, he kind of checked out in his last year also. So this is part of it right there. This is part of it. Seymour saying Minority Report is a cold movie. Elon's future. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everything in science fiction that's been written to this date, believe any of it could happen at this point. Seriously. And that includes James Cameron's Terminator. Seriously, y'all. Seriously. It's like DZ saying, the more we see our players flourish on other teams, the more it highlights how bad of a decision that was. Shaking my head. Yeah, Kawhi's decision. Yeah. Yeah. Is he stupid? He's a dumb man. Seriously. He's just a low IQ person. He's not very smart, obviously. And too bad he doesn't have good enough advisors that are smart enough to understand what to do. But Uncle Dennis is not that either. Yeah. Yeah. He really fucked up, man. This whole time he's been in LA has been a waste. And honestly, you could have been making way more productive things happen up here in Toronto if you had spent just even 2 more years, just 1 more year in Toronto. You could have won 1 more, maybe even possibly 2. You can ask Serge Ibaka, Kawhi. He'd tell you straight up, we would have won again. And how dare you not believe in Kyle Lowry, Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, Norman Powell, OG Anunoby. How dare you, Kawhi Leonard? You dumbass, himbo, piece of shit, dumbass. You're an idiot, honestly, Kawhi. You're an idiot. I can't believe he's so stupid he couldn't figure this out. How bad that's why you're not a talent scout, obviously, Kawhi. Just stick to basketball because you don't know how to scout basketball. You can play it, but you don't know how to scout it. Yeah, just stick to basketball. Seymour saying, I just fast forward to the last 20 minutes of the movie Heat. Yeah, it's a good movie, man. It's a good movie. You're watching that part now at the airport. The lights keep switching. Yeah, that's such a man. That movie's done so well. It was Michael Mann, I believe, who made it, right? Michael Mann. He's the guy who made man, it's so stylized. And that cast is so top notch. Val Kilmer. Oh my gosh. The whole part with him. And there's just this really important, man, and even the women who play the wives and the girlfriends, they're really good in this movie too. It's just a very deep, rich movie with a lot of texture and storytelling and all aspects of things. And it's just so well done. It's just really well written. And the acting is top notch. It's just a really good movie. It's a really, really good movie. It's one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. It's funny that y'all brought it up today. UC saying this, Kawhi made the worst decision a player But the Raptors as a team made the best decision. Only way he could have stayed is if we traded for Paul George for Pascal. Masai not budging led us to Scotty. Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't question our path. Everybody wants to do revisionist history. Oh, we should have done this. We should have done that. There's no other thing. We do what has happened and we go forward. And you can't change anything. It's a futile exercise and a waste of a conversation to talk about, oh, we should have done this. We should have done that. You can't change it. You got to, this is in general for anything in your life, not just with the Raptors and their GMing and what they've done. You got to just like say, this is how it happened. This doesn't happen if this doesn't happen. Scotty doesn't happen if this doesn't happen, you know? So we've got to understand that everything happens for its reason. Like you guys tell me in the words of wisdom all the time, you know, and this is the path, and this we got to trust it. And we just got to be on our own path. We can't look at other places like New York or Kawhi Leonard and say this is what should have happened or this could have happened. No, we don't know that. It's what has happened has happened. And whether it's Siakam this or Anunoby that, none of this shit matters because it's only what's happened. And y'all can go ahead and go over and over about it. I see it as a waste of time. I think that people that do revisionist history or want to point this or that, in some ways, it's like, no, just like, let's go forward. Let's look at the future. And let's be very proud that the Raptors are in great shape right now. And we're poised to be a contender again. So that's what matters. That's what matters right there. Yeah, Seymour saying, don't we still have Chucky and Elijah? Why get another point guard? Exactly. Exactly. We got Chucky Hepburn, and I didn't hold on to him in a two-way spot all this year where we could have used another body on our team with an empty roster spot to have him hit hurt on a two-way spot the whole year to circle back and waive him at the beginning of this year and give up on Chucky Hepburn? No. We're invested in this young man, and he needs to come back and be in the point guard situation somehow, some way. Elijah Martin's not a true point guard. So in some ways, I can't include him in this. He's a big small shooting guard. I mean, he's a small shooting guard. And in some ways, he has a harder path in some ways just because of that. Just because of that. But we'll see. Elijah surprised me at times this year, for sure. Trevor's saying today's a double vote for WNBA All-Star. So get your votes in for that for sure, y'all. All right, I'm at 2 hours. I got to keep going. Great conversations today. We're talking about a lot of different stuff. Seymour saying RJ is the most successful out of the big three. Reddish, Zion, RJ gets most heckled. Make it make sense. He's Canadian. That's it. In some ways, we can see the way that they are disrespecting and mistreating SGA publicly in the U.S. media down there right now. You can see it. You know, they don't cover Victor getting an egg thrown at him in the right way. They're saying, oh, Victor almost misses an egg. Rowdy Knicks fans celebrate. It's like, it's all spin. It's all perception. They treat the foreign players in the NBA as enemies and the American players as like golden boys. And, Victor, SGA, Luka to an extent, Giannis, they all get the same kind of treatment because you're not American. We can't get totally behind you because you're not American. Gosh dang it. Why are all the best players in the NBA not American? Why can't they be American? Well, we're just going to have to shade them until we get a good player. Come on, Jason Tatum. Here's a little stick. I'm poking you. Do something. Do something. Come on. Can't have the top 10 players in the NBA be all from other countries. They're foreigners. It's all that kind of shit. Now RJ was on the blast in New York because he was a media darling. He was the Ben Stiller's favorite player. The media was behind him because he was on their team. But he's gone now, and he lives behind the shadows. He's the Canadian on the Canadian team, double to boot. So the RJ effect, if RJ went to a small market team in the U.S., like, I don't know, say he was in Milwaukee instead of us, he'd probably get overshadowed there and they would ignore him there. It's only because he was in New York that he got spotlight. And now he's on the Canadian team as the Canadian. Oh my gosh, double blackout. Double blackout. That's it right there. That's it right there. They'll go talk about overeating Zion Williamson. And Cam Reddish, is he even in the league at this point? You know what I'm saying? Zion is getting healthier, and I hope he does better in his career going forward. But yeah, it shows in some ways this is the bias. You can see it. You can see it. Cool Cat's saying, oh yeah, regarding Kawhi. And look, Siakam and OG make NBA finals, and he hasn't sniffed anywhere near that level. Yeah. Who was helping who, Kawhi? Seriously. Everybody always says, and this is the NBA perception from common NBA fans, is y'all don't win your championship without Kawhi. That may be true, but you need to say the flip side of it. Kawhi don't win without the Raptors either. Mhm. And he didn't respect that enough. And once again, we'll talk about Cool Cat's beloved, the beloved PS P skills is that Robin to his Batman that got so many points in the playoffs and that playoff run that they were rivaling Jordan and Pippen. And not enough people talk about that either. That Siakam has a track record with his championship with Toronto being the second best player on the team scoring beside Leonard, and that there was a precedent for what Siakam's doing now in Indiana. So yeah, that's it right there. That's right. That's right. And Siakam, Fred VanVleet, OG, we didn't have a bench when those players need to go bench to rest. We would lose the lead in a heartbeat when the core rested. I think this is accurate. We had Malachi, and we had a really stupid, unreliable bench. And I think that she's exactly right. I think that our team was depleted of its powers after the championship, and we went through a tough period where we had players like Stanley Johnson and Yuta. I love you, Yuta. And he put on his Instagram, OG, you the man. Yuta. But it's like that's a tough time. We didn't have as good of a bench, obviously. We didn't have the restocking of Fred and Norman and Pascal and Jakob coming up in the 905. The 905 didn't even play for a season, and that really hurt us on the down low because in some ways our 905 system was not utilized correctly for a period of time in between the group with Jerry Stackhouse that won the G League championship and to the point where Andrew Jones coached it the last 2 years is finally back functional. I don't count those years in between as being worthwhile for 905 because what did we get from it? We weren't getting good development. We weren't getting a pipeline. We were just fumbling our thumbs, and part of it was the displacement of the pandemic and the suspension of the G League for a little while because of that. So, I think that's part of it. The pipeline got shut down, and we felt it immediately on our bench during those years. And Cool Cat's exactly right. I'm going to give her a dunk. I'm gonna give her a dunk because she's exactly right here. That this is part of the reason why that core failed. They didn't have the support off the bench. She's exactly right. 21. You got that fatty daddy 21. Fatty daddy. Yeah, we forget about Thad Young. It's like Thad Young turned his back on the Raptors. It's like, I don't know. We'll see if he comes back to Toronto ever. Had so many different teams, and he really identifies himself with so many different fan nations. I wonder how much he really is going to embrace the Raptors side of things, especially since he made a knuckleheaded comment in the last year or so since he's been retired. So I don't know. Thad Young, do you care about Canada? Do you care about anything that you did here in the years that you were here? I don't know. We'll just have to see. That crossover on Embiid still will live on. That's for sure. That's right. That's right. Seymour saying this: who is more toxic, Uncle Dennis or John Morant's dad? I think John Morant's dad is, because he's more visible. He's on TV, and we see him at games, and we see him interacting with other teams' players, and we see him talking trash, and we see him setting the bad example for his son. So I think I'm going to say it's John Morant's dad because we don't even know who Uncle Dennis is. Do you know what he even looks like? We can just know he's the infamous Uncle Dennis from behind the scenes, but he's not really out and publicly. He gives bad information, but in some ways, it's like John Morant's dad, T. He's more like, okay, my son's a wannabe gangster and he's screwing up his life. I don't care. I'm just here having a good time. Why don't you talk to him? Why don't you be a parental role in his life and maybe smack him upside the head and say, hey, get your fucking shit together here? I don't know. I would say Morant. I would say Morant for sure. That's an interesting question, Seymour. Now, John Halliburton, is he involved in this too? Nah, he's all right. He's just passionate for his son, even though he shouldn't have been talking to Giannis that way, that one game. Yeah. Trevor's saying, I live in New York City, but my team was the Lakers because of Magic Johnson, my favorite player back then. That's awesome, man. I love that. I love that. Yeah. It's tough to be a fan of a team that you're in the wrong city. It's tough to be like that sometimes. Sometimes some of the Toronto fans that are fans of other cities, I'm like, why don't you just give up and just be a Raptors fan? Come on. Come on. Just be a Raptors fan. It's so much easier in some ways. You can go to more games and root for your team instead of just waiting for when your team comes through. Just be, that's interesting. I didn't know that about you, Trevor. When you were living in New York, you were a Lakers fan. That's cool. And you were a Showtime's Lakers fan, obviously. if you're a fan of Irvin and James and Kareem and Byron and AC and Kurt. Uh, who else is on there? Gary Vitti. Yeah. Let's see. Randolph saying, Lex, look at it this way. If the Knicks win the championship, we won't have to listen to them complain anymore. No, that's not what will happen. That's not what will happen, Randolph. You are completely wrong. We will hear them more. You say we won't have to listen to them complain anymore. No, that's not what's going to happen. You're going to see them take a victory lap every single place they can. They're going to be absolutely obnoxious. They're going to be absolutely they're going to do it the whole year long. They're not going to shut up. This is how obnoxious they are. You're going to hear more from them. You're not going to hear them less. You're going to hear more from them. And it's going to be rubbing it in and talking all this kind of crap and all this kind of stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's going to be, man. If you can't see this, you got to understand Knicks Nation and the way they are. Yeah. Yeah. Didn't they all die in heat? Did everybody die in heat? I don't remember who got away. Somebody got away. I know somebody did. Somebody got away. I think so. I don't totally remember. I might have to watch it again. I just remember, yeah, he does get De Niro at the end, right? Ah, spoiler alert. I fucked up. I'm sorry, guys. Mr. GG 1959. Thank you for the subscription. I appreciate you. The only reason I know who Uncle Dennis is was because I worked in the media for 36 years and was also a Raptors season ticket holder for 28 seasons until my health took a turn. I'm sorry to hear about that. You know what? I wish you revitalization, amazing energy, amazing resilience, and all kinds of great things to happen for you, Mr. GG. I don't know you. This is your first comment. You're a new subscriber, but I have an open heart to Raptors fans and season ticket holders and people like me that are passionate. And I hate hearing this. I hope that you can make your return some way in some fashion. So you had never seen them and you were around and you never heard him and never even knew who he was that year that we played. We had Kawhi on our team. That's interesting. See, that's right there. That's what I'm saying. He's just an infamous kind of behind the scenes guy who had a pivotal help in Kawhi making a decision. I think that some of it was dumb was they wanted to make him a member of the front office. Like that's one of the things we've heard since is like one of the demands of Kawhi was you have to make my uncle a title in the front office or something. And then they wanted to also have a ownership piece of the Leafs. That's what I heard too since. It's like they Kawhi wanted to have part ownership of the Leafs, which I don't think it's unreasonable, but Leaf Nation probably taken aback by that. And you're like, oh, God forbid an NBA player owning a piece of the Leafs. Oh my gosh, that would be bad, right? And Seymour saying wishing nothing but help from Mr. Gigi. See, there you go. We open our arms to a new subscriber. Somebody that just came in for the first time and saying, yeah. Let's see. Kareem saying, I hope Spurs fans took note by the egg throwing incident. Listen, just because Knicks fans make themselves look bad doesn't mean anybody else needs to do it. Raptors fans don't need to. Spurs fans don't need to either. They're a good, bad example of not how to be. And you know what? Spurs Nation will look better for just being classy and doing things right. Knicks Nation will make themselves look bad at every corner, including in San Antonio for Game 5 tomorrow. I'll bet you money there will be clips of a Knicks fan acting out in San Antonio in a very aggressive, annoying, egotistical way that and Spurs fans hopefully will just not take the bait. They will not take the bait. Because what Seymour said the other day is somewhat true. There's a little bit of political play in this where they're trying to amp up conflict between people because there are powers out there that want to keep us divided and they'll utilize anything they can, whether it's trans issues, whether it's immigrant issues, whether it's basketball rivalries. They will try and egg people on to conflict. So I don't take the bait. Don't take the bait, San Antonio fans. Knicks fans are idiots. They can act out and be stupid. They only make themselves look bad, is what I say to that. Yeah, that's what I say right there. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. All right, let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying Reservoir Dogs better, a better reference, better. Man, I don't mind that movie either. I had my favorites from those genres. Like one of the movies I really love is The Departed. I'm a big fan of Scorsese, and The Departed is really well done too. And it's a lot along the lines of Heat. with a very good ensemble cast, with a very intricate, well-woven plot and intertwined storylines. And there's a lot of comparisons, honestly, even with like the relationships with Matt Damon and Leonardo, and them showing those aspects of their lives, and Jack Nicholson too. But yeah, that's another one right there for me is The Departed. That's a really good movie too. That's a really, really good movie. Seymour saying, Kareem, hot chilies tacos should be thrown at ghetto Nicks. Why did you put in ghetto? Yeah, I mean, in some ways, yeah. Why did you put that in there? I don't know. Did you put that in, Seymour? I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Mr. Gigi's saying this now. My name is Greg, and the problem is I developed nerve damage in my lower legs due to a medication I have taken for a long-term medical condition. I hate to hear that, man. I hate to hear that. Well, Greg, we appreciate you, and I hope you'll continue to follow the Raptor Freak channel. We've been doing this for almost 5 years now, every single day in the morning at 9:30. It's basically like an everyday morning radio show where people can talk through the chat, and I read every comment. Voices can be heard, and we can all talk about what's going on with basketball in Toronto, whether it's the Raptors, the Tempo, CBL, and even Team Canada. We cover the senior men's team pretty heavily when the SGA and RJ and all them are getting together, especially this summer coming up in Hamilton. We'll be covering that. So it's like, basketball channel here, but very in depth on the Raptors. I've been a longtime fan since the beginning too. I'm 50 years old, and I was a day one fan of the Raptors from the start. And because I grew up in the States as a Canadian, and I didn't play hockey, and basketball has always been my main sport. And I'm tall. I'm like 6'4", and so I'm really into basketball. And in some ways, I felt like we needed more spaces to talk positively about the Raptors with the toxicness of social media, and just kind of be fans for our team and have our perspective, because there's not enough in the Canadian media and the US media that's really kind of covering things from our perspective. So I wanted to be kind of that place. But Greg, I really appreciate you being here. And I hope we see you more in the chat. Like, people drop in here and there, maybe weeks, months, even years. We don't see people in between. But once you find the Raptor Freak channel, it's kind of like one of that little bar around down the corner, down the alleyway that nobody knows about. But when you find it, you're like, whoa, this place. All right, this is cool. But once again, we wish you only the best outcomes with whatever you're facing, and progress in any kind of way that you can get. Seriously, man. Seriously, Greg. Salute, man. In fact, I'm gonna give you a dunk, Mr. Gigi, just for coming in here, being a very honest person, and just coming in and contributing to the show today. I appreciate you, man. So Mr. Gigi's on the dunk list. You got your original BI3. It's notoriously 3 dunks that you get first. They're 3-point dunks because they're so good. At the end of the year, the calendar year, I add up all the dunk totals, and we give a prize to the dunker of the year who had the most dunks for the year. So this is actually kind of a competition. Fiercely saying, welcome to the team, Mr. Gigi. There you go. Yeah, we're a bit of a family here. That's why we call it the Raptor Freak family. Seymour saying, you're right, Lex. Don't take the bait. That's right. Don't take no bait, y'all. Don't take no bait. That's right. They're gaslighting. They're trying to get you. And don't fight, Spurs. Don't be lowering yourself to them. That's right. UC saying, I might have to start passionately hate watching the Knicks blow a 3-1 lead. Seeing Wemby at Scotiabank Arena back in February felt like good luck for the Spurs when we lost that game. Yeah, that's right. UC traveled to Toronto this year and came to 2 Raptors games. Got to see the Thunder and the Spurs. What a great 2-step of games in Toronto for UC's first games at Scotiabank. It's so fantastic. I love hearing when Canadians from other parts of the country make the trip to the Scotiabank Arena and get to see a Raptors game live and in person. We've had our friend Tom Duke come over from BC a few times, and it was just so much fun. So anybody across the country, you love basketball, definitely come to Toronto and go to a Raptors or a Tempo game, but also realize more and more the sport's growing in your city, and you may have a Canadian elite basketball league team in your area. That's right. And we got some games tonight. I want to go over them real quick for a CBA schedule. We've got on the slate just one game tonight. It's going to be Calgary visiting Winnipeg in Winnipeg tonight at Canada Life Center. The tip-off is 8 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah, if you're in Manitoba and you want to go to a professional basketball game tonight, you can go to one downtown. The Winnipeg Sea Bears Arena has the biggest capacity in the Canadian Elite Basketball League. Calgary Surge are currently 0-8, have not won a game this season. And Teddy Allen, the Winnipeg Sea Bears, are 4-4. So get on down there and support your Canadian Elite Basketball League. There's 10 teams in the league, and there's probably one near you. My team is Scarborough Shooting Stars, but maybe you're on the west side of Toronto and you want to go support the Brampton Honey Badgers. But yeah, it's a fantastic product. It's a great league, and I highly recommend it to anybody if you want summer basketball action. And if you live in a city in Canada that's not Toronto and doesn't have the Raptors, well, you could go see Vancouver Bandits. You can go see Calgary Surge. You can go see Montreal Alliance. That's right. That's right. That's right. Let's go. All right, let's see. Mr. Gigi saying, if I knew about the channel, I would have been here a few years ago. You know, this channel started basically when Scotty got drafted. And I started originally as like, I'm just a passionate fan who wanted to talk Raptors. And the pandemic was going on. We were shut down. So to connect with people to talk about the basketball team, I went through the internet and YouTube. And at first, I was just doing reports on like positionless basketball with Nick Nurse and Vision 6'9", and just talking about scouting the Raptors and stuff. But the show's evolved, and there's different segments that have come and gone. And really, on any game day for Raptors or Tempo, I'm doing preview, and then on the day after, I'm doing a reaction. So tomorrow, we'll go over the box score for the Tempo game in Washington against the Mystics tonight, and I'll break it all down. I do stars of the game. There's all kinds of fun stuff happening here. But basically, since Scotty started playing for the Raptors, I've been doing this channel every single day, and I haven't missed a single day. I have almost 2,000 days in a row. In September, I'll probably get to, I'll have 5 years. I'll have appreciate this, man. I really appreciate your energy coming into the channel right now. You know, we're very inclusive. We have people from all walks of life here, and we try and represent everybody fairly by whatever kind of thing is, you know, whatever it is. We don't care who you are. I don't care what background you come from. I don't care this or that. We just care if you have a passion and you're for the Raptors. That's the one thing that's important and essential. I don't like Raptors fans that neg the team on the down low. It's like, oh, I'm a Raptors fan, but boy, do we suck. I'm like, what do you mean we suck? Have you been watching them? We got Scotty and Colin. We're going to be great. What are you talking about? That's right. That's right. Let's see. Isaac's here. Good morning, Isaac Campbell. The benevolent one holds it down for us in the nation's capital of Ottawa. How are you doing today, Isaac? Why are we giving the Knicks any of our energy when the Spurs are going to win in 7? There you go. That's right. All right, Isaac. That's the spirit right there. That's right, Isaac. The benevolent one comes through once again, and we're going to give him a dunk for that kind of attitude. That's right. He's saying Spurs in 7 still. That's right. We'll hold out for this. Let's say the basketball gods are watching, and they want to punish the people that are doing the injustices and violence that in the name of the Knicks right now. 94 is the year. I think the Knicks were in the championship and they lost to the Rockets, right? So you're 94 on the dunk charts, Isaac, at this point. So you're up there among the leaders. That's right. That's right. 7:30 a.m. Mountain Time. That's right. Seymour's up early, and he's at the warehouse working, and he's getting the trucks loaded out in Calgary right now. That's right. We're nationwide. That's right. Mr. Gigi saying, I played varsity hockey and basketball in university, and despite being only 5'6", averaged 22 points per game. That's fantastic. That's awesome. So you're a speedy guard. Yeah, you're a speedy guard. And because if you played hockey, you know, that's the one thing I know about hockey players is they've got really good up and down the court, because it's in some ways you take the skates off. You got to run around so much on an ice rink to play hockey. That's a lot of like mileage. You know, I love the stats when I hear stuff like the leaders in the NBA for most mileage on their feet when they're running around up and down the court, Fred VanVleet and Steph Curry, right? Those two guys have the most mileage on their feet when they're playing. They do the most running every which way is Fred and Steph, apparently, in the stats. But yeah, hockey player that plays basketball, I would figure you get up and down the court. And maybe you scored a lot in transition. I might guess that, Mr. Gigi. And maybe you could tell me if I'm right. Were you a guy who got on the break like our Raptors do and get a lot of easy baskets going down the court? Or were you a sharpshooter? Did you have a three-point shot? This is cool. I love this. We love finding out about different walks of life and different people that watch the channel. Kaloy's saying this, that 2019 roster is something special. Remember, we had no top 6 pick in those players. All were developed and built by effort. Yeah, and you know, it's rare when a team has so many hits in the tube coming up.
Like that team that won the G League championship with Jerry Stackhouse of Siakam, Pirtle, Van Vliet, DeLon Wright, Norman Powell, Lucas Nagira. There were a lot of hits in that whole group right there. And you can see it in where they are still in the league right now, with Powell getting his first All-Star this past year, Fred getting an All-Star eventually, Siakam getting all kinds of accolades since, and Anunoby, just the hits that the Messiah and Webster were getting in drafting and acquiring guys, they just hit a lot. And I think that they did the same thing the year they drafted Walter and Shed and Mobo. That year, if we could circle back and get Ulrich back, draft picks and new rookies that year. We had 5 new rookies that year. They weren't all draft picks. Wasn't. But, in some ways they mirror that group from before. And if we go by the timeline of the 2016 G League champion group to the championship in 3 years, well, a great draft class with Shed, Walter, Mobo, Shamshay, and Battle. Does that portend and lead into the same kind of wave of talent and going into a championship for the Raptors on the main squad level? That's what you got to ask yourself. Because I see in some ways that's how you can predict a championship coming, is the wave coming up from G League into your team. And that's why this whole time in the last few years between the championship and now, watching the G League stumble and falter, I'm like, we're delaying the next chance where we're going to come back because the G League is not doing right. 2 years of Eric Curry was a waste of time. And in some ways, we delayed the wave of good development talent coming up from the G League level to the Raptors by not having it all set down there right. Luke Wynn did a fantastic job this year, keeping good talent on the 905, and we saw a record number of call-ups and two-way signed with Olivier Sarr, David Roddy, and Julian Reese getting signed and taken to the big clubs in the NBA. So, I predict that the wave is coming, and in some ways, Walter and Battle are the Van Vliet and Powell of this next generation, is what I'm saying. Yeah, they're like those guys. Walter's Powell and Shed is Van Vliet. So in some ways, if the pattern stays true, we'll see something here. Seymour saying, "Go Surge, get that first dub." That's right. They got to beat Winnipeg in Winnipeg tonight. We'll have to see. You want to dunk for Greg? All right, Isaac's gonna throw you an alley oop, and Greg's throwing it down. Hammer. Right, look at that. Isaac's already found a new get assists off of. You're now got the Corey Joseph Pickering 6, Mr. Gigi, is what you got here now. You got that Corey Joseph Pickering 6. That's right. Let's go. Kaz is saying Greg in Canada or the USA. I think he's up here because he says he's a season ticket holder for the Raptors. I'm going to guess he's here. Yeah, not only have I been to the first ever Raptors game. Awesome. So you were at that New Jersey game and you saw Alvin hit the first shot for us, Alvin Robertson. But a little off topic, I also went to the first ever Expos, Blue Jays, and Rock games. This is huge. So yeah, Greg was there in 77 for the Jays. Wow. April 7th, right? I believe that's the date because that's my brother's birthday. My brother was born on the first Blue Jays game ever. My little brother. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I was living in Toronto at that time when the Blue Jays started, but I was 2 years old. I was not old enough for that one. Yeah, Cass, I live in Toronto, actually Scarborough as well. Cool. Yeah, you should check out the Scarborough Shooting Stars. It's a lot of fun. All their games are on YouTube for free. You can just look up CBL on YouTube. They're going to be playing tomorrow night against Edmonton in Edmonton on YouTube tomorrow night. So if you want to watch basketball in the summer, we're at the point where we can now with the Tempo and the Canadian Elite Basketball League. And I'm telling you right now, Greg, the quality of talent in the CBL, this is a man's pros league. This is really good talent. And in fact, on Scarborough, you could check out Charles Bediako, one of the guys who's on the list for Team Canada in this Olympic cycle. And to me personally, he's somebody I think that Rowan Barrett Sr. should seriously consider putting on the main squad. He's on the B team right now, the one that will be competing during NBA season when the NBA guys can't show up and represent Canada in the FIBA qualifiers for Olympics. But I think Bediako is good enough, just from my scout sensibility, that he could be considered strongly to be possibly a replacement on the men's team for somebody who's, a little bit up there, like Dwight Powell or Kelly Olynyk or a Kem Birch because, Zach E's hurt, and we do need centers for Team Canada for sure. And Charles Bediako may be that guy, and he's on Scarborough, and you can watch him yourself if you want to tomorrow against Edmonton, and let me know what you think about Bediako. He doesn't score a whole lot, but he does the rebounding and the shot blocking and the rim protection, and he's a gazelle up and down the court. He can run the court. He's not a slow big, and that's the stuff that I want to see in a center for senior men's Canada and the Olympics coming up. That's what I want to see right there. That's right. Yeah, 10-4, good buddy. There you go. Yeah, Seymour saying big up the Burrow. That's right. Scarves, baby. The ends, baby. I was a goalie in hockey. That's cool. And you love Van Vliet. See, that's somebody I know is a good Raptors fan. Sometimes you give me your opinion on certain hot button topic Raptors like Fred Van Vliet or Jakob Pertl. I can tell who's a real one for the team or not. Yeah. Yeah. And if somebody understands the qualities of why Fred Van Vliet should be beloved and why Van Vliet is one of the greatest Raptors of all time, then you're a real one and you understand the Raptors. And it seems like Mr. Gigi is like that. That's right. UC St. Greg is absolutely a legend. Wow. I wish the Expos come back sooner rather than later. That would be awesome. I would love to see that rekindling of that brand. I don't know if MLB would ever have that in their plans. It seems like there's a push and they would do very well if they did. Montreal's emerged as a great sports city. There's really a strong talk about them getting an NBA team possibly down the road too. So yeah, I'd love to see the Expos come back. It's a shame that they ever went, honestly. Yeah, Mr. Gigi saying, I wish I had a 3-point shot, but we didn't have a 3-point line when I was in the. Oh my gosh, you're dating yourself here. He's dating himself. You say they didn't have a 3-point line when he was playing. Oh my gosh, Mr. Gigi, much respect, much respect. If we did, maybe I got 25 points per game. I shot 92% and 96% from the line. Wow, holy crap, you really dead eye. Holy cow, that's crazy. So you're a good scorer in a snowstorm even. Wow, you were 17. Wow. I've been to Shooting Stars games. The arena is not far from where I live. There you go. So you have been to Shooting Stars. So I'm not telling you anything about what you already don't know. It's weird, the turnover for that team. They didn't have any returning players for this season. And wow, they've only lost one game or something. Yeah, they've been amazing. I love the Shooting Stars right now. Miles Powell is so fun to watch. And Frank the Tank Miller, doesn't he have shades of Oliver Miller? It's crazy how much he's like, are you related to Oliver? Are you Oliver's son, Frank Miller? Seriously, because it does seem like he's like built the same way as Big O from our inaugural Raptors, right? Oliver Miller, Frank Miller. Oh, Mitchell. His name's Mitchell. Sorry, it's not Miller. I've just transposed it. Frank Mitchell. Frank Mitchell's his name. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Kaloy saying, welcome, Mr. Gigi. Hey, y'all, it's summertime. Time to touch grass. I just had my daily sweat by shooting hoops. There you go. Kaloy's running out from the stream, and he's literally shooting shots while we're on the show. And he comes right back in. He's like, oh, I got to get a drink. Oh, Lex is still on. Is it Alexathon? Well, that's 2.5 hours, and I do still have some segments to go. So we'll see. Doing the same right now. See, and Seymour's shooting shots at the warehouse, too. This is real, pure basketball love here. These guys are combining the Raptor Freak Show with putting up shots at the same time. I wonder sometimes if people listen to me in public and they hear my crazy ass saying crazy stuff, and they're like, what are you listening to? What are you listening? Oh, I'm listening to Raptor Freak. What the hell is that? It's just this dude. He really loves the Raptors. He's on YouTube in the morning. Oh, okay. Weird. I'm sure that happens, especially if I bust out in song all of a sudden, or I start doing some Al Pacino like impersonations because somebody's talking about Heat or something like, I'm gonna get you, Robert De Niro. Stupid shit. Oh, it's so stupid. It is goofy. It's fun. It's fun. That's what it's all about here. It's fun. That's right. And you guys are taking shots. That's awesome. Mr. Gigi saying during the championship run, we brought in many former Raptors players, including Damon Stoudemire. Yeah, I love Damon. Damon's a really smart guy. He kind of had a weird exit from the Raptors. He totally regrets. I love how he talked about that in documentaries and stuff since Open Gym. He talked about how he regrets how he left just because Isaiah left. He felt so loyal to Isaiah Thomas. He felt like the Raptors screwed him, but he didn't see the grass was green where he was already. And he went to Portland and he found out he's just another number in the team in Portland. He wasn't the franchise focus like he was in Toronto. So Damon Stoudemire has a lifetime regret of leaving Toronto too soon. And he could see what happened afterwards with Vince Carter and be like, whoa, I could have been lobbing balls to old Vinsanity if I just hung on a little bit longer. Yeah. Yeah. I love Damon. Damon's so smart. And he is a cherished alumni. And I'm glad that our first ever franchise face is in really good standing with us. Some of our franchise faces are not in good standing with us. And in some ways, they do not respect the culture and the whole history of the Raptors like Damon Stoudemire does. So I appreciate him for that. I really do. I appreciate Damon for that so much. And his regret about how he left and forced his way out of Toronto, in some ways, in a deal which we got Alvin Williams in, which was a great trade in some ways for us. It's sad. In some ways, it's too bad for that. It's too bad for that. Yeah. Seymour saying binder and tape and glue didn't work. Trying to fix your ball. You popped your ball and you tried to fix it with tape. What is going on here? This is like little kid logic. I'm going to tape this basketball back together. You need that super glue, crazy glue or something like that, right? That might work. That might work. The glue didn't work though. Oh my gosh, yeah. Seymour saying Keon is my favorite rapper of all times. Raptor, Keon Clark. Keon Clark was drunk every single game he played for the Raptors. The man was lit. You could see it if you go back and look at the old highlights. You'll see Keon Clark wavering in the wind like a willow in the marsh with the wind. Whoa, a little shaky. Yes, because that man was lit. Homeboy was drunk. He was so drunk when he was playing for the Raptors. And you could see in his eyes, too. It's so glassed over and stuff. Like he's admitted it. Keon's clean now. He's out of prison. I follow him on Facebook. Well, while I was on Facebook, not anymore. But yeah, he's cleaned up and he's a very vocal supporter of AA and getting cleaned up and learning from your lessons in life and just living a better life. He's living a better life now. And he's a very strong advocate for sobriety. So I appreciate Keon Clark and his life's course. And it's not broadcast enough that he has cleaned himself up and he is out of prison and he is living a good life now at this point. Yeah, he's awesome, man. I'm going to give you that jersey. If you come to Toronto, I'm giving you my Keon Clark jersey, Seymour. That is my enticement to get the Calgary guy to come back home and visit Scarborough. Is you going to come over here? I will give you that number 7 Keon Clark jersey. I'm telling you right now, I will. Fiercely saying, my daughter used to ask me, who was I listening to every morning? These teenagers' attention span is so short, she would not last more than 5 minutes on the stream. That's right. In some ways, these are 3-hour shows sometimes, 2-hour shows. And for the short attention span, that's not what this is. There's so many more AI clips out there. There's so much clickbait. There's so many people out here that are just worried about subscribers and view times. I don't care about any of those stats. I'm purely and simply just what you see is what you get. I'm not trying to put advertisements on you guys over and over again. Do you guys ever get an ad from watching me? No, you don't, because I didn't activate them. I'm not trying to get money from this channel. I don't need money from this channel. If I do get money from this channel, I appreciate it because it's people showing appreciation to me through super chats or subscribing to my channel as a monthly member. That's great. I appreciate that. That is very helpful, but it's not the end all be all of what my purpose is for here is to make money. No, my purpose here is to share my passion for Toronto Raptors and enjoy it with other people that are like-minded. That's my purpose here. That's it. And that's it. And so many other people are going to do so many underhanded things with clickbait, crazy lines across their content. They're going to get you mad. So just so you'll come and engage with them. Not doing any of that stuff. If I do something like that, it's to prove a point just to be stupid and kind of show how bad it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Mr. Gigi's saying he certainly does regret it and told us if the players had stuck together, perhaps may have won a chip sooner. Yeah. There's a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda. You know, I think that the switch from Camby to Oakley was essential, but you got to look at those draft picks that Isaiah got. You know, Isaiah was so young when he came to run the Raptors. He had basically came straight off the court for the Pistons, straight into a front office job. And you know how the NBA is. They like want to hold people back unless you're like JJ Redick. Here you go. You can be a Lakers coach right away. But they hold people back. You can ask Adrian Griffin. And everybody has to wait their turn. But some people don't. And Isaiah didn't have to wait his turn. In some ways, that was his Hall of Fame career. That was his aptitude as a very smart young man at that time. But he was there. He was here in Toronto very quickly after his playing career. And he couldn't play for the Pistons anymore. and he was amazing at his job. And nobody says that enough. I think that people try to sully Isaiah Thomas's contribution to the Raptors early on because they have their own egos and things. And maybe they got rubbed the wrong way by him early on because in some ways they didn't respect him as a Hall of Fame NBA player like the NBA family did because we were in Canada. And there were a lot of people involved in the Raptors early that had no idea what the NBA really was in its history. So I think that Isaiah Thomas got treated poorly by some people because they didn't really respect him for who he was. And I think he did a really good job. I think that his picks are exceptional. He drafted Tracy McGrady. He drafted Marcus Camby. He drafted Damon Stoudemire. And if we had been able to hold on to that collective, yeah, what could have been around the turn of a century? What could have been around 2000? We saw what happened with them and Allen Iverson in 2001. But what could have been if Damon and Camby, and McGrady, even at that point, McGrady had stuck around and not ran off to Orlando just because people told him he'd always be in the shadow of Vince and he couldn't be his own person with his cousin next to him. There's a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda there. And well, that's part of the growing pains of expansion is you're going to make mistakes in learning in your first few years for sure. And Isaiah leaving was not good for the team. Stuff that happened to the Raptors in the mid 2000s can be directly correlated to the exits of Batove and Thomas. A lot of that stuff. Richard Petty was horrible for the Raptors. Richard Petty was one of the worst people in Raptors history on the down low, and nobody gives him enough credit for how awful he was. He was horrible because I worked at the arena at the time. I used to work for MLSE when they opened Air Canada Center. I was one of the hires. I worked in food and beverage, but I did have a background in broadcasting and in radio from my college. And I was in there and I saw how they treated the Leafs and how they treated the Raptors on contrast. And they were not doting on the Raptors properly with the right energy and the right priority until Tim Lewicki showed up. And yeah, all that kind of stuff was a lot of it right there. Yeah. I love that that Damon really regrets it. If you've interacted with him, I'm sure he's such a great guy. Kaloy saying, have you on a speaker, Lex, in the park? Ha ha ha. You have me on a speaker in the park right now. Hey, people in the park, the man shooting the baskets over here is one of the greatest men in the world. He has a young son named Santino, who you will know his name one day. That's right. All right, people in park, I've made my announcement. It's crazy. One day I got on TTC and I was just at the bus stop across from my old house when I lived in Leslieville. And I got on the bus and this guy starts staring at me. He's like, I know you. And I was like, what? He's like, I've seen you on YouTube. And I was like, whoa. And that was crazy. When I started getting recognized in Toronto sometimes as a cult semi Raptors super fan person, I'm not Nav. I'm not Monique Lawrence. These are bona fide public super fans. I am a super fan, but I'm a cult classic kind of on the down low one. But when I get recognized in public, it's fun. Some of you yell Raptors freak at me from down the street sometimes. Raptors freak! Raptors freak. It's awesome. The dude saw me on the bus. He's like, yo, I watch you in the morning, bro. You're awesome. He's some African guy. He's like, man, you're funny. I'm like, thank you, man. Thanks for talking to me, man. That's awesome. Yeah. Mr. Gigi saying Danielle Marshall liked to tip some as well, as I've heard, but unconfirmed. Danielle Marshall, yeah, I don't know about that allegation like with Keon for him. I won't do that. I don't know for sure. Mr. Gigi saying, does anyone other than myself and the host support the tempo? All of us on this channel, a lot of us are coming over with this. Not everybody in the Raptors Freak family has come over to support the tempo yet. I think it's in some ways they want to see what it is and kind of figure out what it is before they go wholeheartedly into it. But most of us have. My numbers are down since the Raptors season ended. There's some people that are watching me just for Raptor stuff and they take the summer off. It's kind of like school. And I'll see them back in the fall. And there'll be some names that are gone for 3 months. And then they're like, all of a sudden, oh, hey, you're back. It's the Raptors are back. Yeah. But some people, this summer is going to be easier for me with my content because I have the tempo to cover now. It's really tough to come up with subjects to talk about every single day in the off season. Sometimes it really is. Yeah. Yeah. Larry Tannenbaum is great. Every time I see Larry at the game live, I always yell, I love you, Larry. We love you. The Toronto loves you. And he hears me and he looks up and he smiles. He's like, hey, he does something like that. And I was like, I did it to him at the Tempo game last Sunday for the Chicago Sky game. He was sitting up at center court. I yelled at him and said, I love you, Larry. I love you. Yeah, he's always there with his wife. Yeah. Mr. Gigi saying, I love all the players I can almost look in the eye are taller than me, Muggsy and Spud Webb. Muggsy's great. I met Muggsy once, and I'm exactly like a foot taller than him. I'm like 6'3", 6'4". And the picture of me with Muggsy is hilarious because he looks so cheesed. He's like not happy to meet me. But it's funny, man. It's funny. I did meet Muggsy once at what's that mall over there by 401? Yeah. Oh man, you know that mall, the very famous one everybody goes to out there at 401 Allen Road. I don't know why I'm blanking on it right now. Mr. Gigi saying, I grew up with 3 sisters, so I'm all in on the tempo. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we're very inclusive. Like I said, I'm a very progressive person, and I really like equality. And I feel like I want to. This is a test for me to cover the tempo and do it in a way where because I grew up in Florida, right? I grew up in Tallahassee, Florida, and was raised in the States, and that's kind of why I have a Southern accent sometimes. I'm a Seminole. I went to Florida State just like Scotty, and I bonded with him about that too, actually, on Twitch. Like we talked a lot on Twitch. Scotty knows about the Raptors Freak. He does know about this channel. But being in Florida and stuff, I got raised with a lot of conditioning by the South in the United States and a lot of bullshit I've had to unlearn, whether it's sexist kind of misogynist kind of thinking. And I'm using this new opportunity with the tempo to work on this area better. And it's often like one of the big rules about my show is like I'm not above reproach. If people want to call me on being an asshole or being wrong in any kind of way, I will listen and I will try and amend my behavior, because I feel like in some ways respecting everybody for being different and who they are is important. And there's not enough of this kind of energy in the world. In fact, there's the opposite kind of that energy in this world. So the tempo are a good opportunity for me to be a better person, is what I'm saying. Because you just see old Lex as a 20-year-old womanizer running around in my drinking days before I found AA and I quit drinking. I was pretty wild and I was, living that life. Let's just put it that way. Lex was a party guy. And Lex is like Keon Clark. He's found the rooms and he very much values sobriety himself. It'll be 16 years in November since I've had a drop. 2010 is the last time I drank. Yeah. Fiercely saying, I used to love the Liberty, but they did Sandy wrong. Besides, the tempo has arrived and they're my team now. Yeah, that's good. In some ways, it's like, look, I don't have an anger towards the Liberty like I do the Knicks. I should, though, because they are Knicks, New York team still. We hate the Yankees. We're Blue Jays fans, right? We don't root for the Rangers in hockey, do we? No, we don't root for the Islanders. No, we root for the Leafs. We root for the Blue Jays. We root for the Raptors. And in some ways, yeah, now we root for the tempo. That's right. Fiercely saying there's so much turnover on WNBA teams. It's hard to build allegiance. You can't connect with anyone. So having a team you identify to makes it easier to be a fan. Yeah, I'm finding that the change in the rosters already just in a month and a half of WNBA is amazing. Like, it's crazy. Like, I thought there was a lot of turnover in the NBA. The WNBA, unless you're a franchise piece that they really invest in and keep around, people are switching teams a lot more than the NBA, it seems like. Yeah. Let's see. Go tempo. See, it auto-corrected you to go time. I don't understand that. Mr. Gigi is saying the best picture I ever saw was World University Games. Arvydas Sabonis, 7'4", and Muggsy Bogues, 5'3", with Muggsy looking up at him. Well, have you seen the one with him and Minute from when they were on the Bullets in the 80s? Yeah, Washington Bullets at one point had the tallest player in the NBA and the shortest player in the NBA on their roster. And it's like the picture has Muggsy with like balls on his head. He's like balancing balls on his head, and Minute's holding like 4 or 5 balls higher than him to get to his height. The great Minute Bowl. May he rest in peace. Yeah. Arvydas was something else, though. It's too bad that Sabonis didn't get to the NBA sooner in his career. Seriously, it's way too bad. That's one of the biggest shames. Yeah, Mr. Gigi's celebrating saying congratulations on my 16 years. I had 16 years. I guess it's 15 and a half right now, but it's getting closer. Seymour saying Charlotte trying to move Bridges for Sabonis of Sacramento. Interesting. That's an interesting move. Mr. Gigi saying, I like the Islanders because I knew Mike Bossy when I was a kid. Never saw that one. There you go. All right, I've gotten to the end of the chat. Let me start checking on my tabs real quick to start wrapping up. We did the Redditors of the day. We did the Canadian goods on straight goods. We got to say happy birthday today to Raptors, former Raptors assistant coach Earl Watson. Earl Watson, of course, was like carry water, chop wood, carry water was his big book. And something happened between him and Nick in that last year of Nick Nurse's coaching. But yeah, I have a feeling that Earl Watson did something very bad because he has not been going anywhere since. I think he's been assistant coach for San Diego Toreros basketball team. That's college. And that is so yeah, he's a college assistant coach right now at this point. I guess he's not in the NBA anymore. He did something. But we'll say a happy birthday to Earl Watson today, former assistant coach of the Raptors. He's 47 today. So happy birthday to Earl Watson. Yeah, we're in depth here. We're going to do that. We're going to cover that kind of stuff. Let's see. Let's do the classic card. Let's go ahead and do that. And then I'll do my wrap up. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about how the Tempo could win the game tonight, too. That's right. Yeah, let's see. Any day, Arvidas was resting his elbow on Muggsy's head. That's cool, man. Classic card. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Shaq Lindsay saying welcome. That's awesome. I love the friendliness. Okay, this is a weird card. All right, this is a weird card because you'd think this is a coach's card, but it isn't. It's a player's card. But I don't understand it. So let's see. All right, full name answers, the rules on this. Mr. Gigi, you may have actually an advantage in this with your long spectating of sports. This is the classic card. We're going to get a basketball card, and I'm going to show it on the screen right now. And we want people to write their name of the player on the card, and they get the points. And we add it to our trivia scores, and we have a trivia champion. This is our trivia trophy. It's like the Stanley Cup. It's got all of our trivia champions' names on the bottom of it. And we're going to give a trivia championship when the Larry O'Brien goes out in the finals. In the next couple weeks, one of our Raptor freaks will be winning the right to have their name on this championship for 2026. So here we go. Here's the classic card of the day. He's not wearing a jersey, which is making me like, why? Why is this happening to him? Is he hurt? Is he a coach? No, he's not a coach. He's a player. So who is this, guys? Full name answer. Make sure you're live and write in the full name answer. Is Slug Deezy still here? The king of the classic card usually will scoop this because he's figured it out. But there's no jersey number and there's no place. Jerome Kersey. That's an interesting guess, Seymour. And Jerome did play for the Cavs at one point, but that is not Jerome Kersey. This guy, Jerome Kersey was like a power forward, small forward. This guy's more of a small forward shooting guard. And let's see. I'm going to give you a clue real quick that'll help you guys. His name really in general is almost the same name as a very famous chef in this world today that does books and TV shows. And yeah, he has almost the exact same name as a very famous chef. It's not Gordon Ramsay, but he looks kind of like Gordon Ramsay. And he's from the same country as Gordon Ramsay. If you know any of your chefs, this guy has almost the same name as him. He has the same initials and he has the same last name as that guy, but his first name's just slightly different. I don't want to just straight up tell you the chef because it's too easy then. But think about chefs that are famous, that put out books and that are on TV and maybe guest on like the Oprah show or something like that. Oh, I'm coming out on this talk show. I'm on The View, and I'm going to show y'all how to make this risotto real quick with Joy Behar and them. Something like that, you know. I don't know if that's a good clue. Maybe I should figure this out. We'll say from Seymour's thing, we'll say that his first initial is the same first initial as Seymour's guess. There you go. Slug Deezy figured it out. It's Jimmy Oliver. Jamie Oliver, of course, is the chef I was talking about. This is Jimmy Oliver. Look at that. Fiercey spelled it out with this with the spaces. She was so close. Did you know it from Jamie Oliver, Fiercey? Did that clue give it away that I said his name's almost exactly the same as this chef guy? But Slug Deezy got it before you on my screen. So Slug Deezy will get the classic card. The king of the classic card reigns again. Yeah, you got it with the clue. I knew you did. I knew you did. Yeah, Jimmy Oliver is the classic card of the day. It's his draft picture too. Look at what they used to wear at the draft back then. He looks like he's going in for a counting meeting. He's like, hey, how are the dividends in this quarter? Oh, they're doing fantastic. Everything's in the black, Jimmy. Oh, fantastic. Oh, wait, I'm at the NBA draft. All right, and I look like I'm an accountant. Yeah, I don't know. That's just the style of the time, right? What school did he go to? What school did he go to? I don't know. Y'all read this. My eyesight's not so good here. Wait, here is it. Here's it here. He went to, it doesn't even say. Oh, he went to Purdue. He's a Boilermaker, just like old Big Zach. He's a Purdue Boilermaker. There you go. He went to Purdue. That's right. All right. So it is Slug Deezy for the classic card, Jimmy Oliver. And this is a tough one. So I'm going to give him 300 points. I'm going to give him 300 points for this one because this was a tough one. So Slug Deezy, you get 300 for the classic card. All right. Let's do the wrap up real quick. Mr. Gigi saying he probably left his ugly jacket on the chair. I mean, it's just 80s style, right? It's like 80s style. It's like, hey, I'm at the draft. Oh, I wonder when they're going to call my number. Oh, it's just taking so long. Oh, I don't want to be embarrassed. Oh, this is taking so long. I'm dropping. Where's my agent? All right. Let me do this. All right. Injuries for tonight's game. Niara Sabali is questionable due to she has like a hamstring issue right now. So she's questionable. She may not be playing tonight, our big Niara. So Kiki Rice is still out with her ankle sprain, her grade 2 ankle sprain. She will be out tonight. But the good news is Temi Fagbenle is looking like she's probable to return to the lineup, which is fantastic against the size of Shakira Austin. To have our center Fagbenle available will be great. And hopefully she won't miss a beat with the tempo. Ha, ha, ha. And she'll be out there in rhythm right away. Ha, ha, ha. And be able to integrate and play with the team fine without kind of gumming up the works by kind of being not fresh because she's, she hasn't played in like 12 games, right? So, Temi, welcome back, and we'll be very happy to see you on the court tonight in a Tempo jersey on the court and not in street clothes on the bench. So that's the injuries for the Tempo. On the other side, there's one particular injury for the Mystics. It is Kiki Arifin, their leading rebounder. She is questionable also. She could be playing. It's her ankle that she's having issues with. She did sit out the last game for Washington. They've lost 2. We've won 2. That's where we are in the streaks. And the ESPN matchup predictor is predicting 58% chance Washington Mystics are victorious against Toronto tonight. Well, we are on the road. We'll see. The referees for the game tonight are Tony Patillo, number 76 is the crew chief. We are 0-1 with her so far this season. The referee is Ryan Sassano, number 3. We have not had him ref a Tempo game yet. And Ken Jones is the umpire, number 36. We have had him once, and we lost also. So an 0-2 cumulative record with the ref crew tonight in Washington. This is one of our signature segments, Mr. Gigi, as we go over the referees in depth for the Raptors. And I honestly understand the Raptors' relationship with all the referees in the NBA at this point. This is one of the things that I do on this channel. Nobody else does, is I talk very, very openly about referees and how they may manipulate the game on the down low that the average viewer may not see. And that's one of the things we talk about right there. Yeah, Butch Carter mustache. Yeah, I guess there is a Butch Carter mustache on Jimmy Oliver. It's like, actually take his bald head off and say, "Hi, I'm Butch Carter. Get out there, Vince, and make a dunk. Come on now, Vince. You're my relation, right? Because we're the same last name, right? You come on, get out there. I'm Butch Carter. It was my birthday yesterday." Yeah, okay. He does kind of look like Butch Carter like that, right? Just don't show the top of his head. So you can't see he doesn't have the hairstyle. That's right. That's what it looks like right there. Yeah. It's kind of like it right there. Yeah. Yeah. After the draft, we all become a GM. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Hero has confirmed he is a Buck. What? What are you talking about? Do we have breaking news? Tyler Hero is a Buck? Is that because they're trading to get Giannis? Is that what's going on here? All right. Let me see. Is there breaking news here? I don't see any breaking news here on about this. Is this Tyler Hero's just telling people already he's there? Yeah, Butch without the hair. Yeah, Butch had like a flat top, right? A little bit of a flat top. Yeah, that's like Butch lost a bet. That's what this is. Butch lost a bet. I tried to dunk against Vince Carter. I told him I was the best dunker named Carter on Toronto. I forgot I was the coach. Yeah, that's what happened there. Yeah, Butch without the hair. Oh, you tried to out dunk Vince? What are you trying to do, Butch? You're old. And like, did you? Yeah. Anyway, all right. Enough of that. Keys to the victory, the path to win. We have to contain Shakira Austin. She killed us in the first game of the season and ruined our home debut for the season. The first ever Tempo game was lost to the Mystics. Do y'all have pride, ladies of the Tempo? Do y'all have pride that y'all were robbed of that moment in the very beginning of the season by a very big lady named Austin, who absolutely just took over and just powered through like a bull in a china shop through the lane and just did whatever she wanted to? Can you hold her down? Temmie, did she hurt you? Show me where she hurt you. On your shoulder? Is your shoulder okay? Let's come back and get her then. That's what I'm saying. The best payback is a W. And that's what I want to see tonight. Y'all, they put a L on us at Coca-Cola Coliseum. It's time for us to go down there and put an L on them in Washington tonight, 7:30 Eastern. And it should be on TSN or something like that tonight. So check it out. WNBA action, Toronto Tempo, inaugural season. Yeah. Contain Austin. Don't let Citron go crazy. Don't let her be shooting. If somebody's going to be out there making shots, it should be this woman right here, Marina Mabry. That's who we want making shots tonight. Not Sonia Citron, even though she's a really good player, and I have a lot of respect for her. I like her. I like Sonia. She's a good player. If she ended up in a Tempo jersey at some point, I'd be very, very happy. Trust me, I would be very happy. That's right. Fiercely saying, Hero's a buck. I don't see the fit, but hey, I'm no Pat Riley. Don't make these decisions. No, the big buzz is, and this could very well be likely, if Giannis is leaving Milwaukee, Miami is the soft landing space. In some ways, he's already said publicly he doesn't want to play for Boston. Giannis has said he will not play for the Celtics. Everybody who's saying all these trade rumors about the Celtics are going to get Giannis, they're full of crap because Giannis does not want to play for the Celtics. He said that's a no trade. There's a lot of players that have said, I won't play for the Celtics. Siakam's another one. LeBron James has rejected the Celtics. The Celtics wanted him too. And LeBron said, I will never, ever play for the Celtics. So Giannis has said that. It's looking like things are lining up and that he will probably be leaving Milwaukee. And Miami's the spot. And Tyler Hero is part of the package going the other way. That's what I've been hearing. Right here. Yeah. Mr. Gigi saying if we made some free throws, we'd likely win that game, though. The first game of the season? Yeah. But it's all right. It's a learning curve, and everything's so fresh and new. Expectations for the Tempo are put at the door as far as I'm concerned. Let them be who they are. Mr. Gigi could tell that first season with the Raptors went and how it went from going to the first game. And you know what? This season with the Tempo is so much wildly more successful already than the first season of the Raptors. There's, part of what the Raptors got by on was just the newness and the freshness of basketball in Canada and the fun of the logo and stuff. It wasn't about winning. It was just about having the NBA in the city. And some of it was about like celebrities coming to games. And some of it was about just having a new team to root for. But we didn't win a lot. Let's just put it that way. Well, the Tempo are winning. They're got a winning record right now. So they're already light years ahead of the Raptors in some ways, if you're looking at where they were with their expansion year. So, yeah, I love it. It's awesome, man. It's awesome. Fiercely saying Harrison and, in fact, Benlay will take care of Shakira. Lex, it's Shakira. It's Shakira. See, this is what I'm telling you. I'm not above reproach, and especially with the women of the WNBA. I don't know how to pronounce a lot of their names yet because I haven't really heard their names said out loud yet. I played WNBA fantasy for years now, and I've been saying their names, but I don't know how to say their names correctly. So it's like, Shakira. I go different ways. There's a young girl that lived down the street from me named Shakira. So I'm used to saying Shakira just because when I was a little kid, she was my friend down the street, Shakira. So I don't know. I got to get this right. Shakira. I'll just say Kira. That'll be easy. Giannis for Hero. Damn, that's just part of the deal. It's not just Hero. There's more pieces coming from Miami to get that done. And I'll bet you there's some draft picks for sure. I'll bet you there's at least 3 or 4 first-round draft picks involved in that deal too. Yeah, Milwaukee's gonna absolutely make sure whoever's getting him on the other end, they're getting what they want from that. Yeah, they're gonna make sure. Yeah, Mr. Gigi saying Marina Mabry has to clean up her release and she will score over 20 every night. From the way Mr. Gigi described his shooting percentage, I think that he would be apropos shooting coach from Marina Mabry to sent. But I love this kind of flop like this. It's so weird though. Like I was saying earlier, she has a clip out on YouTube that came out yesterday, and she's playing a basketball game at the rec room downtown near the Ripley's Aquarium, and she's just flinging the ball like this. Like you're right, her release is weird. Like it comes from down and up and like this, right? Right? Because I get into this too, because I coached and I get into mechanics and like fundamentals for basketball, and I'll watch the games and I'll be like, wow, this is how they need to tweak their free throw routine or this or stuff like that. But yeah, her shot is unorthodox, but it's working. That's the whole thing. And in some ways, like if she slings it like this, if it's working, I have no problem with her shooting crazy like that because that's the way she's practiced. That's the repetition. But maybe there is a slight mechanic change that could alter it to make it even better. But the fact that she can hit this with no daylight, with barely any breathing room, with players right next to her quite often at the top of the key around the screen is so good. It's amazing. She really don't need a lot of room, and she'll get that shot off fast. So yeah, but yeah, there's probably some things she could do a little bit different with her release. I would say, yeah. Yeah, the consensus was the Tempo would win 15 games. I figured at least 19. Well, we'll see. We're on our way. We're on our way. We're already almost halfway to that 15 mark. And it seems like we can go even further. Like this singer Shakira, hips don't lie. Okay. Okay. UC's giving me a great stream, goat. Thank you. I appreciate that, goat. Maybe I'll get it out in the yard and it'll eat my grass real quick because the grass needs to be ate. Fierce's saying some reporter called her Shaq and she was not having it, even wrote it in IG. She's not a fan of Shaq. So she don't want to be no Shaq. No. Part of the fun to look for tonight is the relationship between Austin and Mabry. They're very good friends. And in the first game, they got in each other's faces a couple times and they were talking some trash. So there's a little bit of extra kind of stuff with that. And, she's such an interesting player, Austin. I really wish they hadn't matched the offer and she was a Tempo right now because it would be helping us in a lot of major ways. That offer sheet we gave to Austin in the offseason. It's too bad they matched it, but I understand why they matched it. She's a cornerstone to a franchise. And, I think she's so funny because like she flips her hair and she's a very trollish. Like she'll make little fake smiles at people on the court. She'll be like, she'll do stuff like that. Oh man, that's the whole aspect of the WNBA that I'm getting used to. Is there's cattiness and there's a little bit different kind of trash talking in the WNBA than the NBA. And some of it is very, very blatant and very obvious. You can see it if you're very much paying attention. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. All right. That's funny. So, yeah, I've learned never call Austin Shaq. Okay. Don't call her that. All right, y'all. We out. Thank you for watching the Raptor Freak set up right for the game tonight. Let's go Tempo. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Team Canada. Let's go Canadian Elite Basketball League. And remember, y'all, if you want to grow some mushrooms, go ahead and get Mushroom Meadows. They're a local small business in Ontario, and they will sell you a kit like this where you can grow your own mushrooms at home, and they are edible, and they taste so good. And honestly, learning these kind of skills is probably good for the future coming up with any kind of food uncertainty with pricing. It's like, well, I'm going to get a oyster kit, pink oyster mushrooms. And in a couple weeks, I'll have them to eat. Saute them on a skillet and eat them with that. Yeah, drink some water. Oh yeah, you're right. It's 3 hours. Thank you, Fiercey. Yeah, I missed those water breaks. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow reacting to hopefully a big W for the Toronto Tempo in Washington tonight. Let's go. Let's go. All right, appreciate y'all. And thanks for spending time with me this morning. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share if you want to. And hopefully we'll get even more great people like Mr. Gigi coming to the stream. All right, y'all. See y'all.